Hey, hey, hey! Back again with a recap video, this time one day before the trial starts again tomorrow between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, with Amber Heard still on the stand. And today we are joined by a couple of guests. We have my amazing co-host Claire View. Hello, Claire.
Hello everyone.
And we have a new guest today, Mandy. Mandy's a co-host with Claire on her channel. So, Mandy, how are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing very well. Thanks so much for having me.
No problem at all. Claire, you haven't spoken for ages. Do you want to say hello to everyone?
I did. I said hello. I said hello. I know it's been a while. I missed everyone. Hello, chat, and everyone. And Ranty, I actually missed you.
Oh.
Even though you tried to drive me crazy, but I missed you. I did. And I did have the pleasure of streaming with Mandy on Thursday, and we did a little bit of a recap and a rant, like because over there, you could call us Ranty number 2 and Ranty number 3 when it comes to Amber Heard, because like we step out of bounds a little bit, but we had a good time. They've been keeping busy.
Okay, let's just check the levels with the people in the chat. So obviously, I want all it to be balanced with all our levels. Do we all sound roughly on the same sort of volume? Is that good, guys? Let us know in the chat. Well, yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it? It's been a week, hasn't it, and more. And I think we needed it though. Those 4 weeks were pretty brutal, right?
Were you knackered? I was knackered. Like those are long days, like 9, and then I stream after. I'll hang out with you all day and then do an evening stream. Well, Randy, Mandy, you've been trying. Oh, I'm sorry. Go on.
I just noticed your number because I have my phone on stream and I'm on my daughter's laptop. And I noticed your 3 million signatures is up over 4 million now. So when you have a moment, you might change your 3 to a 4. We are very excited.
Wow.
That it is over 4 million now. Yes.
Crazy,
wow.
Isn't it? It's crazy. And I had noticed that myself, but I hadn't realized that I still had that behind me saying 3 million. It's 4 million. Yeah, bloody hell.
Once it hit 4 million to you guys, I don't know if you noticed, Warner Brothers Production, and James Wan stopped following Amber on Instagram after it hit 4 million. Just an FYI.
Yeah, they did. There's more rumor too that it's not going to cost them much to edit out that 10 minutes.
That's why they pushed the release date out. It was supposed to be in March, and then they pushed it out to next year. And I kind of was making the assumption that they were doing that in case they needed to make any edits or anything. So very, very interesting indeed.
Yes, Beaver. I saw the beautiful, or rather ugly picture of Amber on Twitter. You're trying to do Ranty in with the scaring the heck out of me with those ugly pictures. I don't know if anybody saw it, but it's pretty bad. It's it's worse than the one you torture me with.
So. Oh, I saw it. All right.
Yeah, pretty bad. Just be prepared, Mandy. He likes to throw up really ugly pictures of Amber.
Oh my god, me?
Make me scream.
Would I do that?
Yeah. There's a whole chat over there that's witnessed to like 4 weeks of it already.
Yes. I certainly wouldn't be that bad. I definitely wouldn't do something horrible like that to you ever.
I think you might be telling a little bit of a white lie there. I think the chat could back me up. We've been doing that regularly. It is a rather ugly picture. The one with the wrinkled forehead and stink face. We call that picture stink face. You know which one we're talking about, Mandy? That she has that horrible, Yeah. He blows it up real big so that if you're looking at the screen, it just pops right in your face.
Yeah, the great part about that is you can have somebody that. Oh God, hold on.
No,
I gotta go tell my husband.
Look, see what I mean?
My phone was ringing. Hold on.
No, you're going to be glad your phone was ringing when you see what Ranty just did to us. Good morning, Marky. Hope you're having a good day. And hello to everyone else I didn't chat at yet and say hello. I'm trying not to type in Ranty's ear. and try not to mute.
Have you
But
seen
I see you
how
all.
beautiful she is? She is definitely
She,
star quality, right?
what the hell? When did she develop that third chin? And what is going on? Yeah, what is going on? Like,
The problem
although
with her,
go on.
and the problem is she's a beautiful, beautiful woman. She really is.
Mhm.
But
On the
she
outside.
she's so horrible that
Mhm.
if anybody dates her after this, I will just be shocked
Mhm.
because they know what she's capable of. Like, would you date her, Ranty, knowing that this woman will beat you
I
up
wouldn't.
and fake pictures and try to manipulate situations to potentially get you in trouble? I mean, nobody's going to want to.
Can I be absolutely truthful? I wouldn't even go there for a night with her because
Mm-mm.
I just couldn't. I'd be too ill physically to
I'm
do
telling
anything.
you, let me put a warning out there to all you men. That's the kind of crazy that sticks. Don't go near it. Don't put anything that you have near it. It sticks and it will follow you everywhere and you'll never get rid of it. That is crazy. That's the kind of crazy you don't want to mess with. Just
Yep.
look at how she's lied. She actually has no bones about stretching the truth and absolute lies,
Yeah.
We were talking about that, right, Mandy? But if you want to do the witnesses, yeah, you want to start with the witnesses, Randy?
I
Right?
do actually,
Perfect.
yeah, I do because let me see if I can bring something up.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. So
Yeah.
hang on, where are we?
Well. Day one was beautiful. We learned a lot, didn't we, Mandy, about Johnny Depp's past in his childhood and how he was
Yeah.
raised and what
I
he had
knew a
gone
lot of,
through.
yeah, I
Yeah.
knew a lot of it. He's spoken about it before, not
Mm-hmm.
quite to the level that he went before, but
Mm-hmm.
yes, we knew that there was some trauma there to begin with. The part that's just crazy to me is people
Mm-hmm.
saying, some of her stands are like, about him being abusive and putting all this out there. He put all of this out there to try to prove his innocence. And
Exactly.
as an empath, as an introvert, um, him doing those things, that was big for him. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm thrilled that he's getting the support that he so deserves because she wanted this all hidden. We all know this.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to hide
Mm-hmm.
all of this. He wanted it out there. So I'm glad that people are seeing
Yep.
his side and that he finally has a voice. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's super
Yeah.
important for men
Yeah.
everywhere. That Johnny's up there for all men, and
Oh,
he's up
yes.
there to bring this sort of thing to light. And he's I commend him for that. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really do.
Yeah, I think that we can join you in that. Not many people are aware because the media doesn't focus on it. How many petitions and motions that Amber's team filed to keep the public out of the courthouse, to keep this not to be a public record. But Fairfax County has a high profile rule, and they insisted because of the high profile that it was going to be out there for everybody. If you're going to file it here, this is how it's going to be. 4 different motions, all of them failed. Got kicked out of court because you can't go out there and defame somebody in public and then
Well,
not have to justify it in public. Right.
that's why she made the bottle up. That's why she made that accusation with the bottle and about the the sexual assault. She did that
Oh.
because that was the final. She said that she that was part of the one of the workarounds, to not have it streamed, was that if she could say that she was going to have something like that crop up, something like that. So that's why she filed those motions. That's why they were the first time that anybody had heard them, right?
Yeah.
Well, in the UK, there was stuff that was sealed. So honestly, nobody really knows what was in there. I think from just the look on Johnny's face when she was bringing up some of these things, that's the first time that he had heard of these things as well as counsel. So
Mhm.
I don't think those things were brought up in the UK trial. She's adding and adding and adding, and we know she's going to do this because it's exactly what Dr. Curry said she was going to do. She's
Exactly,
going to
like
keep,
word for word.
she's going to keep adding. She's not getting the response that she wants from the public. So she's going to do everything possible to attempt to sway us by bringing in these horrific acts of SA.
Mhm.
She should have just kept her mouth shut, honestly, because now it's at the point where it's too unbelievable. I was telling
Mhm.
my husband about the bottle thing yesterday and
Right.
about how if you zoom in on that bottle, I'm not going to be descriptive. I'll be good, Ranty. But if you zoom in on that bottle, the wax is perfect. Without being too descriptive, if what happened, thank you, happened with that bottle, that wax is not going to be perfect like that. It's going to be
Mm-mm.
tore up. It's going to
Mhm.
be cracking. It's going to be breaking. It's going to be potentially missing. I call bullshit. And
Exactly.
I'm a person that supports victims, but
Exactly.
I call BS. You're
Well,
Yeah.
lying.
can I
And
also say
isn't
that
this
the
go ahead.
size of that bottle at the bottom? Right, I'm not going to say which end she reckons it went
Mhm.
in at, because the way that you listen to her testimony, the way she's saying it, it would suggest that she's trying to put it in fat end first. Right now, I can't believe that was the case. So, but that's how she was saying it on her testimony, right? Now,
Mhm.
if you turn it around, you just tried to grab that bottle, right, from the back, right, that
Mhm.
square end, a man's hand would have to be pretty damn big, bigger than the
Right.
average person's by far, to get a purchase on that big enough to actually use it so that the other end,
Mhm.
the slender end, went in first, right? Because
Right.
the way she was saying it was he was holding her down with one hand and he was using the other bottle to push into her. Now, I'm not being funny, but that bottle, you can't grab enough purchase on it. You
Right.
wouldn't be able to hold it physically in your hand. It's that big.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It just doesn't fit. It, and also, is this the story or the earlier story, Mandy, that is actually stolen from Kate?
The,
Oh,
the earlier story.
Yeah, the earlier one, because she actually steals one of these assault stories right from her assistant,
well, I also
which
want to
is
say that
disturbing.
I watched a video yesterday. I think it was from SEC channel,
Yeah.
I love
or
her.
something like that. And apparently, that bottle, that particular brand
Mm-hmm.
of whiskey, is
Makers.
110% proof.
Yeah, that's Maker's
110%.
Mark. Yeah,
And
we
because
make.
there's no lid on the top, right? So if he was using it that way and she got 110 proof inside of her, she would have needed to go to get treatment, right?
Yes.
The burn
Listen,
would have been
even
horrendous.
even if the bottle was capped, she would have needed some type of treatment. This kind of thing doesn't happen and you just like get up the next day and make the person coffee.
Mm.
Like I
Go
don't
to
I have a
ballet
hard
3 days later. Yeah.
yes, I have a hard time wrapping my mind about all the other details outside of the story she tells, like the real life happening all around it that doesn't fit. There is not one single person who collaborates any of these stories that she tells, which makes them to me, and I use the term loosely, stories. I have to because they're horrific, and I don't even, they're just. It's not easy to hear these kind of things, and then to think that she's lying like this and taking the voice of real victims away. She's doing so as an ambassador for Me Too. She should be ashamed of herself for what she's doing to the real stories of actual victims, to the real cause she's so is supposed to represent. But I would say that Amber Heard represents no one but herself. She did this advocacy for her own PR. She cares not for victims. She cares not for abuse. She is the opposite. It's an atrocity, and I think the ACLU owes us an apology. Everyone, all the victims out there, an apology for making her ambassador.
Yeah. So you're going to get to things, but I have to tell you guys a funny story real quick. It only takes 30 seconds. And I
Mhm.
posted it on my Twitter last night. And actually, Cheshire was like, some people might think that's DV. So I'm sitting here with my husband last night, and he's all, honey, Aquaman's on. And I was on Twitter, and I stopped what I was doing and like slowly looked over at him, and I was all, shut the fuck up. I will not watch ever, ever, ever. But it was funny because he was just like laughing. He could barely get it out. Honey, Aquaman's on. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna.
No. I've seen a lot of that on Twitter that people are boycotting it. They won't watch, and they're trying to send a message to Warner Brothers that if you go forward with her in the movie, you're going to get disappointed. And you think they would learn. Look at how well Pirates did without Johnny. Like, I say that sarcastically. It did not. So hopefully they learn the lesson. Well, listen, you have the picture up here, Randy. This was Ben Chu got to come out of the box with the first witness, Christy Dombrowski, Johnny's sister.
Oh, right. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the first one, right? The first.
Yep. The very first witness on day 2. Day 1 was all jury. We streamed.
Not really. I've got it up on screen now. Because first we had Ben Chu that came up, and he laid down the foundations for Johnny's case, right? How do you think he performed on that?
I'll let Mandy go first. I'm sure.
Oh my gosh, I think that. Is this opening? Sorry, I'm looking at where we are. Yes. Okay.
Yes, this is openings. Yeah.
I think Johnny's team was very straight and to the point and had a timeline of events. It was 45 minutes total. They were clear, concise, precise in their wording. I thought it was spot on. I thought they said the evidence will show, and that's exactly what they have done so far. I'm way more impressed with JD's team's opening than I was with Amber's, for sure.
And how do you think this lady did here, Camille?
I'm crushing on Camille, man. I stand Camille. I want a t-shirt. I stand Camille. Same thing. They have been so organized and so
relaxed.
Exactly. Eating gummy bears, for goodness sakes, right?
I think it was a good move letting her do the abuse part, let her speak out like that instead of Ben. Ben laid great foundation. He's very well spoken. And what was wonderful to see is that during these 4 weeks after listening to these openings, they actually laid out their case in their openings, as good lawyer manners are, good legal manners. They laid the whole thing out so everyone could understand where they were going. And they have kind of stuck to it the whole time. Wouldn't you agree, Mandy and Randy? Like, they have what they told us was going to be presented is what's presented. What they told us we were going to see, we have seen so far today.
Exactly. That's exactly what they said. We will show this. We will prove this. We will demonstrate this. It will be explained to you how this happened. And we've got the evidence. We've got the receipts to back it up. And from what I've seen, that's pretty much exactly what they did.
And they did it without pissing the judge off. Like, I didn't see her correct them or make a face at them the way I've seen some of the faces on the other side, which now I'm thinking at first really pissed me off. But now it's quite comical to have Elaine not even call her own client by the right name when she calls her to the stand. I could not. I mean, I had to. I'm glad I was muted, Randy, because I was laughing so hard I almost choked myself. That was unbelievable.
And I don't think that Rottenborn did bad. I really don't. I'm going to give credit where credit is due. It wasn't bad. Camille gets up there. Excuse me.
Elaine.
Button half, whatever her name is.
Elaine Baruch. Button half.
It was awful. I read the transcript yesterday because I was posting some of it. Oh, before I say that, Ranty, back up just a hair. You want to know what I love about this? look at where the sun keeps shining. If you back up and look at Johnny's team, every day the sun is shining down on Johnny and his team. It's just it just makes my day.
It does. The one day it almost blinded Ben. He was like glowing in the dark. His whole head, everything was like lit up. Yeah. It was
Yeah, so I read Elaine's transcript yesterday because here's my problem with Elaine. She put a whole lot of stuff out there that said that they were going to prove that they have not even touched on yet. She actually said in the first 5 minutes we would be hearing the Australia audio. I don't know if we're going to be able to hear that because Jerry Judge is in it.
And he can't be contested, and you can't bring that to evidence because he's no longer here to verify that that's what he said, that's what he felt. It can't be crossed, so they can't bring it in.
So I personally, like, that was the first thing that got me, and then all of a sudden she's this, that, ranting. I'm saying ranting, not ranty, FYI. And she goes, the first incident in 2011. And I was like, what breaks? What did you just say? And I actually posted it on my Twitter yesterday. She went back and said the first incident in 2011. And I was like, girl, you are just all over the place. And the evidence is going to show all of the evidence we have, the evidence of our photos that a tech looked at and said they haven't been manipulated. I am like, what the hell are you looking at?
First of all, did she just purge, like, she's perjuring her own client with the 2011 stuff, because back in the UK, she said the first incidents of anything were in 2012, later in 2012.
And Amber said 2013, maybe 2012, maybe 2013, maybe 2012. I don't know, because it never happened.
Yeah, right. It's like, it's kind of hard to get the date right when you're making it up to begin with. But maybe she should have been clearer with her attorney about that. But let's, we have to give, like, Elaine a little bit of grace here. I think she's losing it because she can't keep names straight. She called her own witness, Dr. Hughes, Dr. Curry, not once, twice. She called her Dr. Curry. Yeah.
She called Laura Amber Heard to the stand.
Didn't even get her client right.
A moron.
Yeah.
I missed that. I missed that. Seriously?
Yeah, we were sitting here. We were sitting here when it happened, Randy, and we were muted because it was live trial, and we try not to overtalk the live trial, which is, which everybody seems to like a lot. But I was laughing so hard I almost choked. Like, and I couldn't even bring it up to you when we came live because I couldn't risk the fact that I was going to choke myself live on YouTube. I could not contain myself. I actually lost my voice. I was laughing so hard. It was so rich. But
I want to pull up the transcript and, like, save it somewhere and then do a Control F and see how many times she says because it's awful.
You know what? I'll do that for you right now. It tells you the number. I won't go to the parts, but I know what you're talking about on that thing. Go ahead. You guys talk. I want to know now. I'm curious.
Yeah, it's awful. So pull up the transcript of this opening.
I know. Yes, because our Discord is full of this stuff. I got it, love.
Yeah. It was so bad. So bad.
I'm looking at Camille. I'm looking at Camille in the background here. She is not impressed. She's just like, she's shaking her head.
Not.
She's going, I don't believe that was an opening statement. Are you having a laugh right now? I can't wait to get your witness on the stand.
Look at her. Look at Camille right now. She's like, what the F is happening here?
Yeah. And we don't get to see this. We don't get to see this with their side, right? This sort of like happy, we don't get to see that from the other side. It's like they have no empathy for her.
So would you like the number? Because just spelling it UM, like the regular American way, Mandy, Ranty, UM, Elaine said it 47 times in her opening statement. 47 times. All I did was Control F search 47 times. Elaine, oh, Elaine. She's such a joy. Oh, God. This is
Yeah.
fun.
I was embarrassed. I really have to say, I was just embarrassed. So whatever.
This is, I can't believe it. Well, anyway, this is Christy Dembrowski. She really gave a lot of information that many people didn't know out there on media. It's not stressed about Johnny's childhood. That kind of laid the foundation for, number one, Johnny's retreat. His way of dealing with altercations or confrontations or any kind of stress of this way. He retreats. He finds a safe place. He withdraws. He is not coming forward. She said clearly, one of the points that I stressed when I wrote it down was she was able to say out loud, when approached violently by my mother, Johnny never struck back, even older as a teenager, even older as an adult. Never did he ever strike back. He never used physical in any altercation with his mother or even coming between his mother and his father. Ever did he lay hands, not once. That's strong testimony to how he deals with this type of situation.
It is,
I
and
thought
also,
that,
I didn't really gel with this one, with this particular witness, though. I mean, I felt that she was holding a lot back. There was a lot she didn't want to say, and it felt like she was being too I know everyone's protective of the family, but it just felt, to me at least, that she was just being too protective, especially on some of the questions that should have been just, okay, let's just air the dirty laundry here, Johnny has taken, a bit of the old sniff now and then, but to just deny it.
Yeah, that was iffy. I think Mandy and I talked about that, right, Mandy? We wish, and I know in the chat with Kyle's Goldfish, we were all going back. If she just owned it a little bit more, but it's his sister. She's not going, she's not going to want to do that. I don't care. You're going to have to pry it out of her. And I think I would feel the same way if it was my brothers and somebody was coming at me like that. You better get your pliers out, because to get it out of me, you're going to have to pry it good. Because I'm not just going to come up and hurt him like that. She did say
older sister too. So she's protective. Yeah. Protective.
And she's been through the abuse with them. They were there together. She knows how he is. And she knows he drinks and she knows he does drugs, but she clearly stated, yeah, I know. But the only problem he has is with prescription medication. The only problem he needed to treat was prescription medication. She was very careful, and I give her a lot of credit for that. I understand it was frustrating for a lot of us because it did look a little like she was protecting him, but of course she is. It's his sister. Anybody that would expect less doesn't have a big sister. I'm a big sister. I would have did that.
And if she's watched throughout the years and she has seen him on coke and seen him smoking pot and seen him drinking and hasn't seen those specific things be problematic for him until after he started the pills, then she's valid in saying my big issue were the pills. Because
they were, right?
Yes. So I can see how she was not specifically talking a lot about the cocaine and stuff like that. But if she didn't previously view it as a problem until the pills started, that's why I would think
because that's when the need was there. Like, I have to take that pill. Because other testimony from other witnesses, which Johnny's team was able to bring out, clearly said that even on coke, Johnny was never violent or aggressive. He was happy. And whenever he was on any kind of drugs, whenever he was drinking, he did not change his demeanor that much. His bodyguards, all of the bodyguards testified to this. All of the friends came up. All of the business associations, when asked, said the same thing. Yes, he drinks, but he's never been out of line with it. And so they tried to take the edge off of the defense hammering that point in. It was very frustrating in the beginning, especially during this testimony with Christy, that all they harped on was drugs and drinking, drugs and drinking, drugs and drinking. Is like everything that came out of their mouth. I mean, you would think that Rottenborn was a teetotaler, you know, like, oh.
Yeah, but that's the forebearing of how the trial's gone, right? If you if you think about it, that's the only argument that they have is that, you know, if he did drugs and he took drink, that changed him in some way. But everything that we've heard is that isn't the case. So
exactly.
Did you guys happen to see? Oh God, let me look in my history real quick. Hold on. There's somebody did a video yesterday, a guy that worked with Amber previously.
Oh.
And he said, like, upon meeting her the first or second time, they were doing lines of coke. And he said the fact that she's getting up there and she's pretending to be all innocent and all of this is just
a joke.
A joke. Yeah.
Yeah. Before we start on Isaac, though, Ranty, 2 points on Christie's testimony that I want to make that were legally sound and really lay foundation here. Number one, that yes, she does work for his company, but her pay was not extraordinary, out of the line. Like when they started talking about the pay, it was reasonable for an executive of her caliber, and that she often had to book a second room for Johnny and Amber when they traveled together, because Johnny would often have to leave the room because of Amber's fighting, and he always wanted to retreat to a safe space. That proved foundation to what she said about his childhood was true, and it's a lifelong habit of his to back out of a situation like that, and that everybody knew it as commonplace. If you have to actually, every time they travel, book a separate room. This is something that happened all the time. I thought that was really important. Both on the financial end, that Rottenborn tries to, with every single witness, say, yeah, but you like him so much and you're here testifying because he pays you, right? Because he pays you, right? Like, and it's not like that. Like, maybe he's just a decent person, because he at least has 30-year relationships with people, even if they are on the payroll. He can keep a relationship. I'd like to see Amber Heard try to bring one of those witnesses up. I didn't see any on the list. Did you, Mandy? Like, everybody's like, even her friends all backing away. So.
Exactly. I just found out Brandon's not being called yesterday. It was a 2008 movie called Never Back Down. The gentleman in the movie is Stephen Crawley. They have a YouTube. He has a YouTube channel. They put up a video yesterday about his experiences with Amber Heard. Quite fascinating. So, FYI.
This is why we love Mandy, because she got all the little juicy little things. Like, she finds this stuff. So everybody go check that out if you want to get a good giggle about Amber. Just lying to everybody about being innocent.
How about you just give us a quick rundown of that now? Because I'm intrigued. I didn't know anything about this. What's that?
Okay, so they were in this movie, and they're going to do more things, more videos. It's called Stephen and Andrew, I believe. Okay, so he was in a movie with Amber in 2008 called Never Back Down. He states at the beginning he was absolutely fascinated with her. She was absolutely stunning and beautiful, kind of standoffish. Upon like the first week of filming together, they went somewhere and she started busting out lines of coke. They did coke together. They, excuse me, I was looking at something, sorry. They partied together a ton. He's going to get into it a little bit more. Apparently, there is a situation where they were basically held by her drug dealer because she didn't pay up or something like that.
What?
So, wow. Here, I'll put it in Discord. So
hang on. Tell us more. Stop interrupting. No.
They're going to do a separate video about that. But apparently this whole I'm innocent, I'm sweet is the biggest crock of crap. Yeah. He really got into his experiences with her, and just her being, he claims allegedly when they first met and first were kind of hanging out, that she straight up told him, yeah, my two favorite things in the world are cocaine and cigarettes. So
Well, there you go. I thought for sure you were going to say she showed up naked like she did Kevin Costner, but
well, I thought you were going to say cocaine and women. If she'd have said cocaine and women,
well,
I'd have believed that.
Yeah, I might have believed that too.
I did put in the Discord a while back a screenshot of an interview done with her, and she said her 3 favorite things in life are cocaine, fast cars, and older men.
Yep. That's actually when she, right after you posted that, right after she gave testimony that said she wasn't interested because Johnny was older. When everyone she dated was 10, 15, 20 years older than her, every single one prior. Like, that's so ridiculous. Like, she can't even tell when she's lying. That's the problem. Like, she just like, it's a constant. Even the interviews she gives you, when she said that she wasn't really familiar with Johnny's work and she didn't know who he was, when way back then she gave testimony that she was such a fan of his. She loved everything he did and had posters in her bedroom of him.
She went to one of his premieres. There's a picture of her at one of his premieres way before they started dating. So pathological is the word.
It's the delusion is just really knocking me for a loop. Like how obvious it is, especially after talking to people that like yourself, Mandy, that have an interest in psychology and like are telling me about all these tells and all these things that she's doing, and I'm just like, I'm blown away at how Dr. Curry nailed it, like totally nailed it. How Dr. Hughes could actually say she doesn't have that disorder is beyond me. Beyond.
Well, she's basically a shotgun for hire, isn't she? So,
well, so is Curry. Well, there's truth and there's truth. I mean, you could take a check. True. There's truth and truth. Like, I mean, this is their profession. I understand you're paid for your testimony, but you got a career. You know, you got your oath behind you. Like, really, this doesn't look good. You know.
Right. What do we think of Isaac, girls? What do you think of Isaac?
Isaac's amazing.
We love Isaac.
We love Isaac because we are East Coast girls, and Isaac is just straight up
kind of
from.
Dude. He's straight up what he is like the biggest soft-hearted, hard-ass teddy bear like in the world. Like, I wouldn't mess with him, but I would hang out with him and have dinner with him and like invite him to my he's just genuine. That's real East Coast, right?
Yep.
Oh.
I think he's showing now where they reenacted the punch, right?
Yes, I've seen that video and I've been trying to find it. I can't find it.
Wait, I think Renty has it because he's in love with the black and white footage from the cams there. I'm sure he has it somewhere. The fake punch in the elevator.
The fake punch from the elevator
punch in the elevator of the girls.
They lost that. They lost that information. It disappeared somewhere. It wasn't.
We've seen it. We've seen it though. I've seen it. Like,
maybe you've seen a mock-up recreation of it, but the guy that actually did all the that was saying about the footage, he was asked about that, and he said no, we were not told to download that particular video, so we didn't do it and we didn't save it.
Oh, so it's not in evidence, but that doesn't mean it's not on the internet, right? Because I've seen it. Yeah,
I've tried to find it. I really have. I can't find it.
I have to go back to the beginning days of the trial because there's so awesome. I don't know.
But Isaac, what did you think of what was his testimony? Did it sound believable? Did it sound credible to you?
Yes, 100%. Everybody that testified for Johnny has sounded credible, in my opinion. They're, and they weren't shaken on cross. You know what I mean? They did well. I think they did well.
Yeah, isn't that funny that when you're telling the truth, it's really hard to shake you from your story, isn't it? When you're telling the truth and you're presenting yourself
exactly.
Well, you can tell the difference. You really can. Elaine tried with comically so, with trying to, about the makeup, like she was driving me crazy, trying to unsettle him. What did she wear? Foundation? Did she wear cover up? What about the Amica cream? Was she wearing Amica cream? Was she wearing the Amica cream? And he's just laughing at her.
Was she wearing lipstick? Was she wearing blusher? Was she wearing any of this foundation? He's like,
look at that gentleman. Look at that big hunk of a gentleman sitting there. No one's going to tell me at his age, with his experience, that he doesn't know the difference between a woman wearing makeup or not, whether natural or not. And you know what? Even if it was a light natural makeup that she was wearing to look like she's not wearing makeup, it wouldn't have covered any marks. So, like,
no,
Elaine just made a fool of herself. Like, believe me, for anyone who, you could not believe that he wouldn't know. Plus, he kissed the cheek. And then she had to get all upset because he blew her testimony, her questioning away by kissing the cheek. And she said, well, how did you kiss the cheek? Sideways to this? I mean, she looked like an idiot. I'm sorry. I really felt bad for her as a legal professional. She looked like a comedian. She looked like a stand-up comedian when she did that cross knot.
Didn't we get some useful information from him about Johnny's character though? That they were childhood friends. They bumped into each other. He's down on his luck essentially, and Johnny just said, "Hey, you want this apartment? And I'll sponsor you. And I'll give you a ridiculous amount of money to live there and make paintings for yourself."
Yes, Johnny's been a patron of the arts. He loves artists, musicians. He supported.
Didn't he pay for his back surgery too?
Yes,
that as well. Yep.
And
so basically, what it's proving is that Johnny Depp is a decent dude who came from nothing and now wants to help the people around him be successful, be happy, and be healthy.
And in a natural way, not an altruistic or entrepreneurial kind of way, in a natural way, like you do with your friends, like you do if your friends need something in a caring, personal way. But legally, what they proved was that he had access to the whole floor there. And every time he went in and out of his own apartment, he had to pass Amber and Johnny's apartment and the other apartments. And he could have heard any of this behind the scenes that Rottenborn keeps bringing up that you wouldn't have known because you're not behind the door. Like, you know what? You would have heard the kind of accusations that Amber's making. You would have heard something. I mean, you would have heard. And he said he heard nothing, ever. And that they never did anything in front of him except for that one phone call.
Well, her whole case is absolute bullshit anyways, because she says Johnny didn't let me drive, although there's pictures of her driving. She says Johnny tried secluding me from my friends. Then how come he moved 5 of them in at different times into the penthouse? And all the doors were unlocked so they could all go between the different penthouses all the time. Right. He paid for her to go on trips. He paid for her to go to expensive hotels with her friends.
By herself, without him. With castmates. She drove herself to Coachella with her friends the day after she supposedly got so beat that she couldn't move. She was in a car driving, like having a good time, driving herself, to Coachella herself in that little Mustang, right? But, yeah, she's a liar, Mandy.
And I think that Isaac was very likable. He was very honest. He, he didn't sound to me. I didn't perceive him as being like he was trying to be a bullshitter. He just was there to support and defend his friend of 20 plus years. And that's what we're seeing with all of Johnny's people. We're talking about people that have been with him for 20 to 30 years, all of his staff. And, to me, that speaks volumes. And I'm hoping that the jury catches little things like this, because think about this for a second. You are a millionaire. And yet you're in the public eye. You have a family. You've gone through different marriages. You've done drugs. You've drank. You've done all of this. And yet you keep the same staff for 20 plus years.
Exactly.
Amber can't even keep the same friends for 2 years. I mean, think about this realistically. If we want to talk about somebody's credibility and the sort of person that they are to their core, then those sorts of things need to be understood. Like, that's a big deal.
He did wonders for credibility for Johnny as far as a person. Absolutely. But let's not forget what he did legally for the case of defamation. Because, yes, we're going to see that Johnny's a stand-up person. We need to do that because it is going to be he said, she said. So they needed to do that. But legally, he blew the penthouse story out of the water with his testimony that he arrived after the cops and saw the damage. It wasn't there before the cops, period. He saw that wine. That means that they must have put it there after. He saw it after the fact. Okay. And that blows their Amber's testimony about what happened and how it happened and all the damage. Not only did the police blow that out with their footage, okay, but then Isaac confirming that stuff showed up after, because there it is now. How does it show up? It's not on the police tape, and all of a sudden it's here now. So that means that they did purposely stage it. And that does a lot of damage to her side. The other thing that he was able to do is to say how he personally felt about what Amber was doing, because Elaine stuck a foot in it and asked him how he felt about something, which allowed emotional testimony for him to call out Amber in front of her face and say how he felt about what she was doing and that he believed it was all a lie and he didn't understand why she was doing it and he hoped she got some help for this obvious problem that she has. And I was cheering. Go,
Yeah.
Isaac. Yeah. He's my favorite so far.
Isaac,
besides Curry. It's Isaac and Curry. You know, that's it for me. Those two.
Right, let me just say hello to we got 460 people watching, guys. So hello, everybody. Nice to see everybody in today.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging with us this morning or this evening, whichever it is for you.
Yeah, it's nice to do a recap as well and to just go through it, remind ourselves about all the strong witnesses that Johnny brought to the table before we get into the next week of more I stood on a bee or the dog stood on a bee, you know, more of that testimony. So, yeah, we're moving on to the Eastern, the guy that ran or still runs that place, right? And he's the one that downloaded the footage. I can't remember his name. Does anybody have his name?
I do. Brandon Patterson.
Okay. So Brandon Patterson. Yeah. So that's right.
Yeah.
So
he's from the Eastern Columbia building. He was like one of the management team there or whatever. And he had the task of saying yes.
It was boring, right? It was
yes.
Oh my god.
Yes. And then a couple more yeses before all our heads hit the desk. Yes. Yeah. How could I forget that name?
Yeah, I think after this as well, I think after day 2, the judge at the very end stops them and warns them about time, basically, because this took forever. And
it was necessary, though. We all agreed. Remember, we were explaining to the chat and to everybody watching how important foundation is for the legal part of the case. You know, it's all entertainment for us. We're all into the wild side and all of the extra stuff that happens. But legally, the foundation has to be placed on the evidence that this is all true and accurate documentation as it would get it in there so that it could be put into evidence and used when you are crossing or you're presenting evidence to the witnesses, to the judge, to the jury. So
about I've got sorry. Back in the elevator thing, I just want to point something out. The way that he is swaying back and forth. If you look at his Tokyo interview from 2013, I believe, 14, where he said, I'm scared. I just want to go home. Remember that? And everybody was like, whoa.
And he started rocking. Yeah,
he started rocked back and forth. If you watch him during this trial, there's certain times where he's quietly self-soothing himself. And you can watch by his body language to see him doing that.
I saw multiple
Yeah.
multiple films of him on the red carpet or at large events where he is either swaying or his hands are going a mile a minute because he's self-soothing. I do believe he has some type of social anxiety in larger crowds or under stressful situations, and I wouldn't based on his childhood and how he is soft-spoken. When he's not acting, he's quite the soft-spoken person. Like, he's not out there unless you put a guitar in his hand or a paintbrush. Like, he ain't all that. Like, he's very reserved.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's move on with it. Let's believe that for a minute, and let's just ask some questions then. Is that why Johnny Depp is sat between the two lawyers, and is that why they're always comforting him, giving him a hug, whispering to him, talking, keeping him calm, keeping him settled? Is that why?
No, it's because they genuinely like him and he's a decent person, because Johnny has that effect on everybody. You put Johnny next to anybody and they put hands on him, they comfort him, they talk to him, they smile, they laugh. Johnny doesn't cause angst.
So why is
Camille,
Amber on her own then? Why is Amber on her own?
it's the B factor. You really want to know? I could explain it to you. It's the B factor. Nobody, come on. I can't believe you asked me that. You asked all of us that.
You know what caught my attention, you guys? And I was like, wow. After her horrible acting testimony on the stand, she walks over and sits down. Her team did not console her.
Nope.
They did not put their hand on her hand. They did not put their hand on her shoulder. They didn't lean over. They didn't lean over and say, "It's going to be okay, Amber." She literally walked over and sat down, and not one of them consoled her. Now,
and you know
tell
why?
me if her team was confident.
They weren't.
In their clients' testimony, in their clients' stories, they wouldn't console her in some way. Oh, F no. Right there, I was like,
right there.
They don't even believe her.
On that point, legally, that testimony did just as much damage as good. It left the door open for histrionics. It left the door open for Cross to say, "Really, Amber? Really? Do you think you might be exaggerating just a little bit? How are we supposed to believe you if you go this far about something?" Like, it really opened the door for so much. She got so into it that she put her foot in it and she let them bring in past events. That's big. If I was the legal team, I wouldn't be talking to her right now, because that's not a client. That's a pain in the whatever. Okay, like, they might be paying. She might be paying them, but it's not worth it right now, because their job just got 10 times harder, definitely, after her testimony, and there's going to be more of it.
Well, before we get to her, we're saving her till last. We can all donk on Amber in a bit, right?
Oh yeah, we gotta.
Yeah, we can hold still for a minute.
I know. I don't even want to talk about her. I can't believe I do. Like, she gives me. I like talking about this one though. I like this one. Yeah.
She was amazing, I thought, anyway. Absolutely amazing. And I've just had, finally, for the first day in 3 days, I've just finally had a video approved for monetization. Woohoo! So
yay, congratulations.
Yay, finally. I had 9 videos ready to go, and they were all limited ads. And I've been arguing with YouTube. Why? And so finally, they've finally said that one of them can be monetized now. So I'll release that after this.
I really think that's some of what we hear on Twitter, right, and on Instagram, Mandy, about Amber's teams going out and flagging the people that are making the biggest videos and making the biggest statements. I think it's true, because
there's proof.
I think
there's that woman.
Go on.
It's that woman that infiltrated the Amber Heard stands. Have you seen this? Like, she infiltrated, pretended to be an Amber Heard stand, was in all of these DMs with all of these Amber Heard people, and where they talked about calling the police on that umbrella guy, flagging all of his videos. You haven't all, when we're done with this, I'll link the girls. She made her Twitter handle something funny, like "I Stan Amber Heard," and they just allowed her in all of these private chats and stuff, and just watching how they're trying to contact real life people's employers. Like, you know what? I
That's
stand
insane. Go in real
Johnny
life
Depp.
like that.
Yeah, but I'm not, I'm not
I'm not doing that.
doing that
I'm not.
crazy crap. Yeah.
I heard they were doxing people too, and just the mass flagging of videos like they're doing to Ranty to make it that automatically when he uploads now, he's yellow because he's been mass flagged so much because of his viral video. That's really like going too far. Like, that's not truth, people. You got a problem. If you have to behave like that, then you're not coming from a place of honesty and truth. The misinformation is out there. You're really worried about it. I mean, that's not the way to stand your person. If Amber's telling the truth, you shouldn't have to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I've spent 2 days talking to 2 people at Google through YouTube, and they're assuring me that it's nothing wrong with my channel, but they can't see the problem, what's going on. And I'm saying, well, every time I upload a video, it's not getting monetized. It's getting just straight to limited ads. And then it's never being fixed. And it's all. And I don't
know how this works. You then have to request that it be manual.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I had to do that. I just got monetized, and a lot of mine were yellow, and I requested it. But now everything I upload, because I requested so much, everything goes yellow, and then they look at it and it goes green. Like you do it, like until they see that it's all going to be green for a while, and then I'm following the guidelines. Maybe that's the same thing because of the viral video. Maybe if you go through it enough, maybe it'll turn back to automatic green.
So let's talk about this wonderful woman. I didn't like her to start with. I have to say, I didn't like her attitude, but by the end of it, I actually quite liked her.
The information she gave out was good. It's just how she gave it out that was a bit of an attitude. But being around a lot of,
I warmed to her.
Yeah,
I warmed to her a lot.
She's very English. She's very English with her attitude. She's very English with her attitude. I'll just say that. It takes a little getting used to, but once you warm up to her, and she just doesn't take any crap.
Yeah, she shut Rottenborn down. She's very clever. She knew when she was trying to be led into a different answer that she didn't give, and she pulled him up on it very clearly. I don't like you putting words in my mouth, she said. But she gave some interesting testimony, especially down at the swimming pool. Now, I don't know, a lot of people didn't pick up on that, but I did do a video yesterday. I just released it. I couldn't wait, and I just released it, and then I put it back on private after about an hour or 2 or something. But it was about that incident down at the swimming pool. Do you think she was alleging that there was some kind of orgy going on down there, that she intervened?
Well, I don't know about an orgy, but she definitely was alluding that she was in a very good mood and partying with her friends excessively, having no problem at all. Light banter, laughing, drinking, possibly some drug use, she alluded to, that they were having a good old time. But I don't know. You think it was an orgy?
She said that they were sharing each other. And then afterwards she said, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
Well, yeah.
And I was like, sharing each other. The way she said it, and then the way she clarified it, I'm not going to get into any more details about that, but I stayed out of the way with my son, in it way away from them,
She did. She stayed in the kitchen with her son the whole time, and she wouldn't go out by the pool. So I guess that does mean that there was behavior out there she didn't want her son to see. But I can't go there, Ranty, for one reason. It involved Amber Heard, and I don't even want to think about it. I don't even want to think about sharing anything with Amber but a shovel. Period.
Right. So she spat in her face. She spat in her face, apparently, right? I mean, that's pretty damn nasty.
Well, I don't know. Like I said, there's plenty that we could make on those, like we could pick on that part of it, but that's not going to help the defamation. I'm going to stick with the legal stuff, so I don't go insane.
How about informing probably a lot of people that aren't aware of this, but how about informing a lot of people about her testimony that clearly was said, but obviously they've taken snippets of it that hasn't already been brought up yet, specifically about some stories that she told to Amber that Amber may be using for herself?
She testified prior, right, Mandy, that the story in the op-ed about sexual abuse is her story, not Amber's, and that Amber took it and used it in that op-ed. She testified to that in the UK, but it's not being admitted here. They've avoided it. There's a lot of things in the UK that have been, especially the sexual assaults. If you remember the motion that got rid of Eve Barlow, on that same day, in that actual motion, Ben Chu brought up that this defense had already brought up stuff they weren't supposed to based on the sealing of the records from the UK. All of that sexual assault stuff, most of that was sealed, right, Mandy? They shouldn't have came up. And also the judge brought to, acknowledge that was not in the right way.
Yeah. I will say, it's hard because you have to go by what the jury will hear, and that's what I have to do to my brain sometimes. I liked Kate, but what I will say is she did come off a little, to me, like, I can't stand Amber. I have a bone to pick with her. This bitch fired me, so I'm going to be really nasty about it. I've heard previous testimony that hasn't came up yet, that there were a couple incidences that Kate really screwed up some things that she was working on. I don't know if the jury will hear it. It's just shit I know. So I'm hopeful that it doesn't come out, because then it does make her look like a disgruntled ex-employee.
But here, they had that opportunity during Cross and it didn't come up. So I think it's been tossed, to tell you the truth.
It just depends on if they bring in, I put her...
It could have been a quid pro quo. I won't talk about how you stole my story, and you won't put in there how I didn't do my job. I believe that's how the lawyers worked it out. I think it fell through in evidentiary and got sealed out of the case, because you know damn well if they could have Ben Rottenborn is a pit bull. If he could have made Kate look any worse than they already tried, he would have. He would have brought that up right then and there. He would have beat her with that. You know it. He wouldn't let that go if she didn't do her job.
I have a video that I said that I would share with people. It's my type of humor, guys. So there's probably going to be people out there that don't find this quite as humorous as I do. But I did say I would do it because I found it hilarious. I'm sure most of you will find it funny. Some might not.
I'll mute while you do it for a minute.
Right. So everybody
I'll
on
be
mute.
right back.
Right, here we go.
I just married this man. I just married him. I went flying across these parakeet floors, across these beautiful wooden floors. Johnny took his penis out of his pants. Johnny had the bottle inside of me and was shoving it inside of me over and over again. I'm screaming, Johnny!
Maker's mark. Make her scream.
God, did I just say that?
Oh dearie me, that was if anyone wants the link to that, I'm going to put it in the chat right now. Oh dearie me, there we go. Right, there's the link in the chat. That's my type of humor. What can I say? I'm a bit of a child. Are you still there? Have you gone silent, everybody? I think
I'm back. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was a bit choking over that last one. I didn't want to come on stream coughing. Jeez. You went there. You went there.
I did go there. I'm sorry.
All right.
I watched that video. I couldn't stop laughing. I'm sorry, and I thought that it was so good. I just needed to play it again, and he gave me permission, so that's all good.
Okay. Who made that? Like,
it's a channel called Andy's Random Edits. He has 3,950 subscribers. It's only had 242 views, which is probably for that reason.
He made it like an advertisement. It's kind of fun. I guess he's afraid Maker's Mark is going to come after him, but.
Anyway.
So we're done with Kate. Kate was able to say, before you jump up to Laurel, legally, Kate built the case by stating she saw Amber a la natural, 24/7, no makeup, partially naked, no bruise ever did she see a mark on her. She also testified to being around them a lot with Johnny, never heard raised voices, never heard an argument, never anything, never saw an altercation. Amber never even said there was one. She did often play histrionics that she needed her desperately for something, and then it would automatically get resolved as soon as she got whatever she wanted. She did testify about mood swings and things like that, but legally, she laid the foundation to, where's the evidence? I never saw it, and I was her personal assistant. What I did get was fired and spit on and treated like crap, but I never saw Bruce. I never saw Mark.
And
I
she
never
saw her
heard
naked many times. She apparently used to walk around quite a lot. She even mentioned about the makeup, the fact that she only really wore makeup to go out. So that
which
kind
collaborates Isaac's testimony of the same thing, seeing her in her apartment without makeup all the time. It collaborated other witnesses that have said the same thing over and over again. The witnesses what we're going to get to from the Bahamas and from Australia who have said the same thing.
So I thought she was a very good witness, especially because she used to work for Amber. And I know that she's got her issues with him, but she didn't come across as being, untruthful. It came across as just, she was just saying probably a moment in her life that she didn't enjoy. Those 3 years were probably really horrible to her.
Right.
So moving on, we had this chick, the marriage counselor. Now, she said one thing that stuck in my mind. The only thing I took from this, which could have been detrimental to Johnny, which was that she said that she thought that there was abuse on both sides, that it was
abusive, the relationship.
Mutual abuse. Yeah. But I'm trying to define what she meant by that, because she never actually said physical abuse. It was just... She
never said physical. She did say quite a few times that the way they spoke to each other was quite abusive, and that the way they treated each other in their language and in their argument styles was abusive. She said things like that I heard. This is Laurel Anderson, by the way, their marriage therapist.
Yeah. What she said that caught my attention is that she basically said that Johnny couldn't get a word in edgewise.
She was like a jackhammer.
Thank you. Jackhammer was the exact word I couldn't remember. So that stuck out for me, because we've heard that multiple times now. The other thing that played in with to me personally was when she said that Amber told her about abuse, but only told her about abuse when Johnny wasn't there.
Yeah.
So you have to, a lot of people will say, oh, well, a victim doesn't talk about the abuse that they get because they're scared to talk about it in front of their abuser. I get that. I understand that concept. But when she was already aware that there was some abusive things going on back and forth, why wouldn't Amber bring that up when Johnny was there to defend himself? So that's the thing that really stuck with me, was that here's this claim of these things happening, but never giving Johnny a chance to state his side of a story.
Exactly, because she went behind the scenes and made her own appointments with her privately as a therapist, which she knew would seal the confidentiality, between her, and also would try to skew her opinion. She was, I believe she did it manipulatively, because here's the thing. I also think that the marriage counselor is smart enough to know a little bit about what's going on. She doesn't want to come right out and say she does not believe the allegations. She did say that she believes that Amber believes her version of certain stories. I heard her say that. I also know that she did not report anything to the authorities if she thought there was a real abuse, which she would be required to do under her license.
California's got really interesting laws. She isn't required to.
She isn't in California? Oh, damn.
No, it's children and elderly.
Only the only
Mhm.
children. So an adult, she doesn't have to say anything about the marriage or
Not unless it
okay,
was
okay.
seriously
Mm.
significant or there were threats of,
Wow.
yeah,
That's a loophole, California. Way to support the abusers.
yeah.
Just saying, California. Let's get on it. Yeah. But anyway, that's not good. That's not good. I guess they're trying to keep things out of the court, but still, I would think
But
why abuse is
real,
abuse.
yeah, realistically, if you take her testimony, and this is why I like what Johnny's team did, if you took her testimony and you took the testimony of other people
Mm-hmm.
about him retreating, about him trying to back down, we're hearing the same thing over and over and over again. That puts it in a nice package with a
Right.
nice little, bow
She
on it.
supported it. She said that was
Exactly.
his personality, that he was quite reserved during these things. He was willing to have the conversations, but never got a word in edgewise. Wasn't really able to tell his side. Amber was controlling those conversations when they had group therapy together, the two of them, couples therapy together. Amber tried to control everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was. It supported that. I agree, Mandy. It supported it 100%. Put a nice little bow on it.
Yeah,
Because
and they're
she
telling
said,
a story by
yeah,
professionals because she had
Mm-hmm.
notes that she was referring to. A lot of the testimony that you hear from Johnny's professionals are from notes that were taken at the time.
Yeah, well,
And
you talk about the two of them together. Like if you talk about Dr. Kipper and Debbie Lloyd, they're coming up next. You have to talk about them together because their testimonies are hand in hand, every single situation. This is Laurel Anderson looking at her notes also that clearly state, they can't not testify to the truth when they have to go by their medical notes and what's in there.
yeah. I gotta say, I'm a little disappointed in the testimony with Dr. Kipper and Debbie, and I don't know if they addressed it in the deposition and then it couldn't be admitted. Again, if you've heard the Australia audio and you've heard how that all took place,
Amber was admitting that she did the damage to Johnny.
exactly, and I don't understand.
You know
when
why?
they were,
I think I have an angle on that, Mandy, if it
let's hear it.
helps. They are medical professionals, number one. And Amber was in a heightened, excited state. So she would have made utterances that even if it was in an ER or there was any kind of like office situation, they would not be prepared to document this fact or truth because of her emotional situation at the side. Also, a medical professional is not going to come forward with speculation on what someone meant by the words that they say. They're all about diagnosis, disease, and controlling their licensing. They would actually have a lot to pay if damage was done.
You jump in the gun, girls, because they weren't the next up. In fact, it was Gina Dutas who was next up.
Well, she was actually before Kate. Like but I thought you skipped her. Yeah, she got booted.
She was before Kate.
She was on the same day, right? Wasn't she? No,
No,
anyway.
Yeah,
all
Kate
right.
was here. Kate was down there.
Okay,
beginning.
Cool.
And so this is Gina Dutas, guys. In case you don't, or you've not seen much of her testimony, it's because she was kicked off the stand and her entire testimony was struck from the record,
which was bullshit.
Everything. Yes.
Yeah, it was.
Do you want to tell them how that actually transpired?
Go ahead, Mandy. I'll let you rant about this. You didn't get to. I did the first time. Go ahead.
Okay. So Eve Barlow was sitting in the courtroom. Eve Barlow went to Gina Duter's Instagram page, scrolled back to 2020 till the UK trial and found a post that Gina made at that time. I believe she then screenshotted it without the date on it and showed that to Rottenborn, which then stopped everything, objected, and she was kicked off. What I wish would have happened is that when the judge said, "Have you seen anything about this trial?" I wish that Gina would have said, I don't understand what you're asking. I need to understand what you're asking me right now, because they set her up, and the fact that she said, yes, I've seen, clips or whatever. Oh God, it just knife in the heart. I was like, I don't curse online.
Right.
Dang it.
Because her testimony was full of good things that proved that Amber was the partier, that proved that Amber and her friends were the one that were drunk and doing drugs all the time.
She was just getting ready to talk about the MDMA at the wedding. And
which was not Johnny, by the way, not Johnny at all. He was not part of that. So
you're absolutely spot on there, because the following day, motions were made at the court with Ben Chu went, and he said that they had created, they had done fraud upon the court. That's actually what he said. That their team had done fraud upon the court, and that's what ultimately ended up with Eve Barlow having her ass kicked out of the trial for the rest of the trial. And you're right. The point that he made was it was this Instagram post. It's actually in the records that it was that Instagram post that she didn't show the date. She did manipulate it to make the judge believe that she had been watching and posting about testimony from this trial. And the interpretation of how the judge asked it, have you seen any of the clips, isn't the same as saying, have you watched and listened to? Because I could see a bird flying in the sky. That doesn't mean that I've recognized what type of bird it is or heard the bird. Right.
And it was everywhere. If you opened up your Twitter, it was there. It doesn't mean you opened it and looked at it. It was just like scrolling by and things like that. I can understand that. But the judge is going to stand by what she did, because there's the possibility of the taintingness. And she's got to keep things from being a mistrial or from being reversed when the jury does come through. So I have to give her credit for sticking to her guns on that. I have to say, during the motion that Elaine, that we have seen the motions where Elaine tried to say that Eve wasn't even in the courtroom. She's not Amber's girlfriend, and the judge even goes, she texted from the courtroom at 4:31. And you could see the picture of Eve right behind Elaine's shoulder at the time. It's ridiculous. She's arguing with the judge at every chance she gets that she's making an idiot of her. I can't imagine why a lawyer argues with the judge. What?
Have you guys seen the interview with Gina on Page 6 that came out yesterday? I posted it on Twitter.
I saw that.
She's got a lot to say. I love it. A show pony, is that the terminology that was used?
Yep. Yeah, she's coming out. She's definitely coming out with everything she can against her.
Right, girls, let's listen to the clip where she gets kicked off. Here we go. This is the part where she gets asked specifically, have you seen anything? And watch what happens in the background, because we've got Eve Barlow celebrating like a lunatic, right?
All right. Ms. Duders, I just had a question for you. Have you been watching the trial this past week?
I've seen clips of it online, yeah.
You've been watching, so you have seen parts of this trial?
Yeah.
Okay, and witness testimonies?
Yeah, I've seen clips of it.
You've seen it, thanks. All right, does anybody have any follow-up questions?
Ms. Duders, have you been watching?
It doesn't matter, she's been watching clips of witness testimony. All right, you're excused, ma'am. You can have your excuse.
Okay.
Thank you. I will instruct the jury. They'll have to strike the testimony, Ms. Duders. There's a rule on witnesses, Mr. Moniz.
Understood, Your Honor. This is the first word.
There we go. That was her being kicked off. And all because of what Eve Barlow did.
Yep. There would have been a lot there that goes against Amber's character, but she's a long-term friend, couple's friend, her and her husband, with Johnny Depp. And
Stephen
Duders
has been going off on Twitter. I dig it. I live for it.
Yeah, he is still on the witness list, right? But we don't know. Like they didn't
He's
call a
not
lot
coming
of
in.
people.
They're
Yeah.
not going to call him. No.
Neither did the makeup artist because they felt that, like, I guess all of the testimony that Isaac and everybody else did about her being barefaced all the time was enough, you know. So
Well, here's Eve Barlow here. I don't know if you can see my cursor actually, but in the first row behind, we've got Eve Barlow, and then there's three other girls to the right hand side of her, our left as we're looking at them. Now she's just informed them what's gone down. Now watch what they do here. They go into a huddle as they're walking up to the bench to provide this forged information. Here we go. They're all going to go into a huddle now. Here we go. Eve's moving in. She's going to just say to them everything that's gone on. Look at that. All conspiring like four little witches around here. She's saying, hey, I forged something and we're going to get this witness struck from the record. And that's how that went down.
There's been quite a bit of note sharing and file transferring and all kinds of stuff going over with that side.
Indeed. And now we get to the good guy.
I'm going to call it panic.
Yeah, I'm gonna call it panic too. Like you gotta be they were shady. They were a little bit shady in my opinion in how they acted. Well, maybe not shady, but bad lawyer manners. And now I just say shady after what I saw about looked like a USB drive passed amongst the two when that picture just automatically showed up on Twitter. That was funny. Well,
So you say she's been going off. I haven't seen the interview. Have you read it or anything like that?
yeah,
What did she say?
there's links. Yeah,
Gina?
there's links.
Gina, yes.
Oh, yeah.
You could put the link in private chat for him if you find the link to the article.
It was
I think I saw
awesome.
it.
Hold on.
It's
Well,
worth
it's
a read.
Interesting that it's come out very recently because she's back on the trial on the stand tomorrow. So maybe she wanted this information floating around, you know. Right, next up, Dr. $100,000 a month.
Dr. David Kipper. Dr. David Kipper, the doctor who does the is doing the detox, Johnny's prescription medication detox. His addiction detox.
He's his personal one. He will fly anywhere in the world whenever Johnny needed him. So if he was in London and Johnny needed him, he would immediately get on a flight. That's why he was being paid a ridiculous amount of money, $100,000 every month to do that, to be his personal doctor. That's a good job if you can get it, right?
Yep. If you put it in private chat, Mandy, when you find it, I'll share it for them.
I'm looking at it. I just am doing it on
a phone,
Sid's computer because I'm on my phone and my phone is the one that
Drop it wherever it's easiest for you and I'll grab it. Just tell me where you put it and I'll do that.
Okay. It's just if you Google page 6, Gina Duders, it pulls up.
Oh, okay. I'll do that. I'll do it. You guys talk.
So go ahead.
Dr. Kipper, what did you think of Dr. Kipper then?
Again, because I know too much, it was frustrating that they didn't talk more about the finger incident because Dr. Kipper, Debbie, Lloyd, and Jerry in the Australia audio say this was all her. She did this. Amber actually walks into the room at one point and says, "Did I do all of this?" She also says, "I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean to hurt him. It was an accident." The fact that they were there and they didn't really get into it is super frustrating. But then I'm reminded that this is their livelihood and this is how they make a crap ton of money. So they're probably wanting to maintain the outward perception and image that they keep crap confidential.
I'm going to say that you're wrong.
Okay, go ahead.
And I'll tell you for why. I think that it was spoken about. I think that during Johnny's side's, he gets the opportunity to present his case first. And when Amber Heard's on the stand under cross-examination, a little like when Rottenborn was on the stand, he was able to bring new documents up that, he was able to cross-examine with documents with evidence that hadn't been seen at the moment. So I have a strong feeling that when they talk about the incident in Australia and the finger, they're going to then bring up this doctor, and they're going to say, well, let's bring this into evidence, and it will be another portion of the doctor's sort of like testimony, deposition, and then they're going to hear the doctor saying, well, yes, Amber came in and Amber said that she was sorry for cutting his finger off, and then they're going to say, Amber, that's the doctor that was there at the time. Is he a liar? Because if they said that on Johnny's side, on his case, it's better to drop it on her when she's not expecting it, right?
Well,
I don't pray, Ranty, but I hope you're right.
Well, you know what? And let me add a third one to that, because actually I don't agree with either one, unfortunately. Love you both, but here we go. Because I'm just gonna give it to you straight. Legally, neither of those matter for the defamation case. What matters for the defamation case is that Amber can be proven to be interfering with Johnny's detoxification process, that there is documented in those files that Dr. Hughes and Dr. Curry read, that Amber was constantly interfering with that situation, causing stress, causing arguments, causing outrage, pertinent to her disorder. And Johnny was retreating. Johnny said, I need to get out of here. I can't have her involved. I need to be by myself to go through this. Doctors have documented they had to sedate Amber because she just couldn't be away from Johnny because of the separation. Documenting in that medical thing that there was never any mark on Amber, ever, except for one doctor, her nurse documented a little bit of blood on her lip once. She went to a medical facility once to rule out a concussion, which they found she didn't have. Okay.
Yeah, to rule out it. Oh, I've got a headache.
So legally, I need to rein you back in. It doesn't matter if we prove that Amber cut off Johnny's finger with a bottle. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't legally for defamation. What matters is all the other stuff.
Well, it does for Johnny, because Johnny's.
Well, it does for his credibility.
Yeah. Johnny's finger is. It caused so many problems, not on just the film, Pirates of the Caribbean 5.
I hear you, Ranty, but that's not what he's suing her for. He's suing her for defamation.
Yeah, but I'm telling you now, he wants his revenge. He wants to get it out there that she did that.
Oh, I agree. And he's going to get it.
Yeah,
I agree, and he'll get it. But I'm just saying, legally, the finger issue is moot. Legally for defamation. That's the only point I'm making. I agree with both of you on the other stuff. I really do. But I like to stick to whether defamation can get proved or not. I have to bring up that angle only because it's too much fun to bash Amber on all the other crap, and I need to keep it a little real. So.
Do you know how busy it's going to be this week for let's say how many times she's going to get wrecked on the stand this week under cross-examination?
I hope that they are as cautious as they have been. I know that Ben Chu is chomping at the bit to get a hold of Amber Heard. I could see him salivating in the desk.
It's not Ben Chu every day. It's not going to be Ben Chu, is it? He's not going to be.
It's going to be. It's going to be Camille. It's got to be Camille.
Yeah. It has to be Camille because she's the one that's been objecting. So it's always going to be the lawyer that is doing the objections during the initial.
And in our climate, in the climate that exists in our society, it needs to be Camille, because they would not tolerate Ben Chu going after Amber. They would make it look, even though he's right, it would make it look wrong in some people's eyes. Unfortunately, it shouldn't be that way. But it's going to be better.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
And honestly, won't Camille do a better job? Because first of all, Amber cannot stand pretty, smart, educated women that have Johnny's eyes. So she's going to be off her game to begin with. Just because Camille's standing right in front of her, she's going to hate every word that comes out of her mouth. Yeah,
I need to tell you guys, I said this to my husband last night.
Yeah.
What Johnny and Camille have done this whole trial, with their affection, with their touches, with their glances, was all a setup to
was.
irritate the
I knew you were going to say that.
out
That's
of
why I
it.
did the thumbnail Thursday. Did you see the thumbnail I gave you Thursday night, Mandy? Right? It's got the two of them looking backwards at each other with that just slide. They are so on the game of, aren't we flirty? Like, we're going to drive her nuts. I put that thumbnail out there on purpose, Mandy. I knew you were going to catch it. I knew it. I
Yeah.
knew it. I'm like, yo, look at this. This is all a setup to get under her skin for Cross, and I love it.
Me too,
Love
because
it.
she was sitting in front of them right
Mhm.
now during her testimony, and if you look, she
Mhm.
glances in that direction. I'm telling you, there
She
is
snarls.
there is nothing going on. I believe they have a love for each other and a respect for each other, which it seems like a lot of people around Johnny have this feeling for him. But I think they are playing it up
Mhm.
to just get that in when they need to. Yep.
Yes, because Amber needs to be the biggest thing in the room, and when Camille's there, she just can't be. She just can't be.
Yep.
So,
So
yeah,
about these
it's brilliant.
about the testimony with Dr. Kipper and Debbie Lloyd, I'm a little
Mhm.
bummed. I wish I could watch the whole entire depositions and
Right.
not just the pieces that they submitted
Yeah, but
into court.
this is all that paperwork that we watched, Mandy, for the whole year,
Mhm.
going back and forth. This is
Yeah.
how they tried to decimate the Johnny's case, Amber's side, legally. They did get the parts we're not seeing were held through evidentiary. They squashed them. They pulled them out for whatever reason, through negotiations, through whatever. It was decided ahead of time. And we're not going to see it, even though we know it exists. We've seen full testimonies that have not been presented that were quite damaging to Amber's side. And for some reason or other, they got squashed and we don't get to see them, even though we read them.
Yeah.
But, at least they laid the foundation that there is no medical documentation of abuse when it comes to Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, which makes for defamation her accusations false, which proves defamation medically.
It's interesting too, because like I said, I was reading the transcript from Elaine's crap opening, and
you mean the quote, the statement,
the statement, and I believe I posted it. I posted it on my Twitter last night, and Elaine says in the first few minutes, you will hear audio from Australia, and I was like, hold up. The audio is going to have to be very, very precisely edited because there's a lot of Jerry in the audio.
It's not going to get heard. It's not going to get heard.
But
if they admit that to evidence, then they are actually opening themselves up to be used on cross.
Yes.
I doubt that it's going to. I would be surprised because Jerry's on it, and I'm sure if Jerry can't be crossed, so anything it can't come up.
Did you guys hear her bring him up too? That he handed her a tissue?
Rudely so. Right.
Why was that not objected? I was furious.
You know why she said that? Because Jerry couldn't come from the grave and say, I gave you that tissue to shut you up, like to put it in your mouth and make you not talk anymore. That's why she said it, because he can't talk for himself to say why he did it. In my personal opinion, as a bear who's really angry at Amber Heard.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Dr. Kipper did medically, Mandy, give us some foundation to prove foundation, because there is no medical proof that abuse happened. There's been actually the contrary. Evidence of medical professionals being with her 24/7, seeing her eye to eye after she said something happened, during the events that she said something happened, during the same time periods, and they can attest and did so in a court of law that they saw no marks, they saw no evidence of abuse.
Well, and this is what I'm hoping Camille does when she gets to that point, Australia incident. So, Miss Heard, is it true that you took these pictures of the bathroom with the writing on it? Yes, of course it's true. So you were standing in front of mirrors, beaten bloody on a 3-day hostage situation, taking
and there's no pictures
of the writing, but none of yourself.
Bingo, bingo, bango. Like, yes, Mandy, yes, absolutely.
And
Like,
then
why
that
isn't
video,
common sense evidence in a court of law? Because damn,
and,
that's
and
it
then
right
that
there.
video came out about, what is it, within a week or two of this alleged 3-day hostage situation,
Mhm.
where she's doing ballet, getting ready for the Danish wife or whatever hell movie she did. Did you guys see that video?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And did you with the claw hands? Yes. Yes. But you know, that's also the same testimony, 3 days that she was at where there were other people around and that nobody else saw these 3 days of hostage that
Right.
happened. And
She's
that
going to
she
get
says
tore apart.
she said people came to rescue her, but actually they were there to get Johnny. And they actually made testimony already that she was the one clawing all over Johnny and trying to get him back into the house and pulling him and dragging him and not letting him be.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, there is no one but Amber saying this stuff. There's nobody collaborating this, and there's no other witness that's going to come forward from that incident to say that any of that happened.
Right.
Even the people she said were there to rescue her already gave testimony to the contrary.
Here we have the next one up. Remember this one?
I don't recall. I don't know. Who is she? I don't recall. Who is that? Who is that? Oh, Debbie Lloyd. Oh, I don't recall, Queen.
And that's the other thing. So Debbie Lloyd was there during the incident on the stairs after the Australia incident. According to previous witness statement, Debbie Lloyd said a lot more in previous declarations than she did during this deposition. I don't know why. I don't know. And again, I think that these depositions were, of course, cropped down, picked and choose what information they were going to use. But it was super frustrating to me because I've seen past stuff that she's said. And then to watch this deposition, I was like, you were there when she chucked the Red Bull at him. You were there when she chucked the purse at him. Like, why are you guys not remembering this shit?
You know, and that keeps coming up, Andy. And it's because they got the time frame. And it's because if they've already proved the fact that she's angry and she throws stuff, why keep beating a dead horse? They need other things to come in. I understand why they're doing it. And I hate to bring you all, back to it, but legally, they got a time frame. Legally, the point gets made, it gets checked off, and they move on to the next one. They got a lot to prove for defamation. It's hard to prove defamation with famous people. It's extremely hard. Okay.
Yeah.
And now you throw abuse in here too. What does it matter if she threw the Red Bull can? Honestly, it doesn't for defamation. It doesn't. And that's probably why they're picking and choosing, as frustration as it is, because believe me, I'm with you. We've seen it all, Mandy. We know all the stuff that could come forward, including the makeup artist, which I don't understand why Samantha didn't take that stand and say, Amber just lied. I was there. I did her makeup and she didn't have a mark on her. But she put that in the testimony that we didn't get to hear, that we didn't get to put forward. Mm-hmm. Well, it's because they already have addressed it with Isaac, with Kate James, with Ben, with Ben, with Travis, with Sean Bett, with the guy, McConnelly. Is that it? The Irishman?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or all of these people that worked with her saw her face to face with Johnny in a personal, natural way and never saw a mark. So, like, I guess that's why they're not going there. Like, I've had to wrap my brain around it too. It's frustrating, but that is absolutely the reason. Legally, it doesn't matter. Legally, it does not prove defamation.
So, what did we learn? What did we learn here from the nurse?
That she supports everything Dr. Kipper said.
And they saw no injuries. That's what I got.
The same as Dr. Kipper, that she documented medically there was no evidence of any abuse ever, and that she dealt with her personally, and she also put in testimony about her histrionic behavior, exaggerations and whatnot, that she had to calm her down, that she had to sedate her.
Yeah, and I believe that... Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead, please.
No, I was just going to say that her testimony ran for the rest of that day, that's all.
Okay. And
Oh.
I find it amusing, again, Amber doing her backtracking, I'm innocent thing. So we have all this evidence from doctors and nurses where they were trying to medicate her to calm her down, that she was
Right.
medicated. And then she was testifying in Australia that they were trying to force meds on her or some bullshit like that. I'm like, girl, I've heard the audio. You were losing your mind. Do you remember when Jerry said in the audio, or one of them said, oh, how can you even stand listening to that? I was like, oh my God.
I think that was Sean. I don't think it was Jerry.
Was
Because
it
if it was
Sean? It was
Jerry,
one of them,
you know
yeah.
why? Because if it was Jerry, we wouldn't have heard it. You know what I mean?
No,
I don't
we've
think-
heard it because I've heard the audio.
Oh,
None of the
okay.
Australia, none of the
Yeah.
Australia audio has come into the
No, he
case
did.
yet. So
Yeah,
far.
you're right, because they were all like, "Oh my God, I can't listen to this anymore," because she was like wailing and carrying on, and it was pretty pathetic. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Johnny, don't leave me! I'm like, oh my God, Johnny, run, Johnny, run! I'll get your ticket. Like, get out of there. Like, come on.
I just got a super chat from Who Said Kate, who says, thoughts on the alleged Nightie gift? Because remember, Dr. Kiffer was supposed to have given that for, was it a wedding gift or something?
Yeah,
Or
that's
a birthday
weird.
gift? I mean, the Nightie. Do you remember she's going on about the Nightie, silk Nightie that he bought? I did a
That
little short
Johnny,
video on it.
that Johnny wrapped all of the meat and potatoes in all over the house.
Yeah. And he wrapped it up, and it was this silk nightie, and it was a beautiful silk nightie, and it was silk. Did you know? It was silk, and it was black, and it had these frills on, and then Johnny put some meat in it. He's like, what?
And here's the funny thing again. Okay, here's the problem with her. She is putting too much information out there with no proof. You have all of these pictures of the house. You have pictures of his finger. You have pictures of blood on the wall. You have pictures of glass all over the floor. You have pictures of the ping pong table now. You have pictures of all of this stuff, but not in one picture is there meat and mashed potatoes
Or a
in a
nightie.
steak or a nightie. She's going too far, and that's what's going to make her look too not believable. Had she reeled it in a little bit and kind of tried to testify to the things that there's evidence of, it might have made her look more believable in the jury's eyes. But the jury's going to say, well, you've said this, and this, but you've never shown any evidence of that. So how can we believe that when you hand over 40,000, 70,000 pictures? You take pictures all the time, but you're not handing over any actual pictures of a 3-day hostage situation or wrapped up meat in a nightie, or she's making it too unbelievable. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
And when in speaking with Bearded Heretic in the testimony of Dr. Curry, he specifically mentioned repeatedly that is part of what's going on with her disorder. The overemphasizing of these small details that sound like they're so important and they don't have anything to do with the picture. And remember, Dr. Curry said she will say a lot. She will say a lot and not say anything after all. She will talk and talk and talk, and it's what she's doing with these stories and adding all these details, and it doesn't really mount up to anything.
Yeah, but she's remembering either something that she's seen on the television, or she's remembering how, or she's trying to think of how it would like, or what she would expect it to look like if she was sort of like creating that film. So when she says things like she ran out of the house, she ran into the car, and she got in the car and I saw the breath on the windscreen.
Exactly.
It could have been on the window of the car. And my breath was just...
She's going for screenwriter of the year or something. I think she forgot where she was. I really do. I think she's in an audition to be a screenwriter for one of the big production companies. Like, really.
Yeah.
Everything's embellished.
Too much. And it doesn't go to her. One of the things that helped convince me, because I was feeling, and don't come for me, people, but it's very difficult to hear the kind of testimony that you hear from Amber Heard and not, as a human being, take a step back and go, crap, like, what did I just hear? Like, I had a second of doubt that what if any part of this is true? But then a friend sent me a lot of real testimony from real victims, and I watched that, and then I said, no, she lying. She absolutely lying. And I can say that now I can listen to it and go, liar, liar, pants on fire, instead of feeling a little, I mean, it was hard. You saw that day, Ranty. Both of us got off that stream that day. We could barely talk. Listening to all of that was torture in all different ways for so many people, for victims, for the friends of victims, for men who have been accused of this kind of stuff, for women who have gone through it, for actual victims, for people that just know victims, even someone like me who doesn't believe Amber for anything. I want to see evidence, but to hear it all, the stories and the histrionics and all, was so overwhelming. It threw me for a loop, minorly, temporarily. It did.
Right, let's move on to the next guy. I think this was one of his...
Ben King? That's Sean Betts.
That's one of his bodyguards,
Sean
right?
Betts. Yeah,
So,
Sean Betts. Yeah.
I'm just gonna answer this to Adamel, who says, out of 15,000 pictures Mrs. A.H. took during this relationship, were any supporting of her claims? No.
There were 3 that she got admitted to evidence that have a slight mark on it that we watched Umbrella Guy and Stevie, right, Mandy, debunk it. And we actually put that on during one of our recaps. We pulled up all Stevie's pictures debunking those. There was actually more than 18,000. There was 58,624 pieces of photographic evidence submitted, right?
Yeah, a lot.
Right. So the next witness we have up, obviously he took pictures of Johnny when he was actually being assaulted by Amber, and he actually took this picture right now that we're looking at.
Wow, that thing that actually looks like a bruise with a welt on someone's face.
A real bruise?
Yeah.
Like a real bruise. And those are from March and December of 2015. His testimony was poignant in the fact that he never really saw any violent arguments between the two of them, but that towards the end, their actual relationships with each other was nothing but bickering and arguing all the time, and that their way they were with each other changed. So,
okay, hold on a second. Let me watch
that's Sean Bett. Yeah.
Do you? I know, but the laptop is like 3 seconds behind. But just a second ago on the laptop, when Sean is talking about Johnny being injured, look at what Johnny is doing in his chair.
He's fidgeting with his hands and he's moving, isn't he?
The chair is rocking. The chair is swinging side to side. He's so uncomfortable to have this being talked about. It's just
we talked about that being a tell to somebody that's actually been through an event, that when you hear of the event again and you think that you have a physical type response.
See that?
He doesn't look like he starts fidgeting.
He looks down. He looks sad. His brow comes together, and he's self-soothing by swaying in his chair. It's Yep.
Good catch.
Yep.
So more testimony though that basically the relationship was probably verbally abusive, but that he never struck Amber, but Amber would strike him, right? That's pretty much his testimony, isn't it? That he tried to not de-escalate, but he was always the one that was picked on, sort of thing. If you could call it a word, henpecked.
Yeah, he said that the language that she used was demeaning. He used the word demeaning and offensive, and meant to ridicule. She called Johnny names. She said things. He's the one who documented the photographs of all the scratches on his face. He did testify that she did appear to be aggressive.
Right. Next up, I think
I'm
this
trying to
is-
remember in Cross, did they trip him up on anything or no? I don't
No.
feel like
What they
Cross
did-
got anything.
They
Like-
did get him to express a little bit of annoyance and anger and to have to be corrected by the judge several times, which was annoying because he is a professional, okay? And he knew, but he kept trying to over answer instead of yes and no. When they asked yes and no, he tried to put the whole sentences and paragraphs out there and was corrected several times by the judge, but not to the point where anything got stricken or omitted from testimony.
But not to the
his
point where it
credit.
was called out on like
No.
a perjurous statement that was
No.
said.
No, no
Um,
perjury. I don't believe they perjure. They try to impeach everybody for whatever, because they're using the UK trial to do everything that they can to impeach every bit of testimony that they can out. But no, I don't believe they got rid of any of his testimony. Just showed him to be a little. They went out of their way to show him as biased, and he kind of worked a little bit because of his
Mhm.
aggravation. Well, he was there for a while. Like he was there, 2 days. As you see, he came back the second day. for the
And
rest-
again, another individual that has been part of Johnny's team for
A long
how
time.
many years?
Mhm.
How, you know, I don't know.
Yeah. What they did is go out of their way on the timing, Mandy, from going from where they hung out in this one area in the penthouse apartments in Colombia, and to getting from penthouse to penthouse when Johnny needed them.
Right.
And they really tried to trip him up on the seconds and the minutes, and it didn't work because like he was able to like say why. And there were certain things that were, remember there was that one clock that was off in some of the videos, and they were like trying to hone in on that as if the times were different.
It's
But there's
actually
things-
interesting. The elevator is off.
Yeah, right.
Incredibly,
Mhm.
incredibly average did the videos, slowing everything down, and you can look at the clock when the officers check in. You can look at the clock in the main area of the East
Mhm.
Columbia building, and then the time that it took them to walk from the desk into the elevator proves that it's off by, was it 6 minutes?
Something like that, yeah.
Something is off
Yeah.
with the elevator that even made it worse for Amber's team with the metadata of the pictures
did.
because
Yep.
the
Yeah.
police, because the police were actually on their way up
Mhm.
like
Right.
a minute after they said one of
Mhm.
the pictures were taken with the wine in the hallway, and the officers never saw that. So,
Yeah.
Right. Well, before we get to that, let's look at some injuries that that bodyguard took of Johnny Depp. So I've put them on screen for everyone to have a look at. So this is after Amber Heard has basically gone to town on his face. I mean, it's all over his cheeks and the side near his ear, etc. And you can see how red and it looks like scratch marks, right?
yeah, down by the side of his ear, I think that looks like a scratch mark, right? Is that what you're thinking? Yeah.
Now, anybody that goes for the face, that's violence right there. I mean, I have seen couples, arguing with each other, and one of them will do a joke and the other one will give them a little dig in the shoulder and say, "What was that for?" But going for the face like this, I mean, that's violence, pure and simple.
In which, do we remember what situation this was after, Claire?
This is December 2015, March and December of 2015. There were 2 incidents. I believe the scratches are from March, and I believe the bruise is from December. Or
But there's more. Yeah, I mean,
there's definitely more.
He was always bruised up.
Well, remember in December of 2015 when he came back from Australia wearing the dark glasses and they went to dinner, he had dark eyes under there on both sides. Because when he removed those glasses, we have a picture of that. That's on one of our streams. We were able to show that. We have if you need to see the pictures of all the abuse that Johnny went through, there's quite a few of it in our recaps. Because Mandy and I had researched from other streams and pulling right from the internet everything that we could to match it up. And then we did the same with Amber. as far as the black and whites. The days that she testified to being so horrific, where she was doing photo shoots the very next day, stretching across the beach and no makeup. And yeah, we put the timeline together pretty good that it couldn't possibly be true. Her statements about broken ribs, black eyes, busted nose.
Do you want to tell everyone your channel name so that everyone knows it?
Oh, it's Claire's View. Yeah. And Mandy and I do a recap once a week. We've been streaming on it for quite a few weeks before the trial started to get all the evidence out there. There is a playlist called Depp versus Heard that has all of the streams here with Ranty and all of the streams that Mandy and I have done together, including way back a few years ago when I did with Cheshire Vic in Karma Valley when I first came out and did panels, and we talked legally about the case in the UK and about the Sun Libel case and about the divorce. Like everything is there. Well, thanks, Ranty.
No worries. I'll put your link in the chat right now for anybody to go and have a look. And I'll post it. I'll share it up there for everyone to see. There we go.
Thank you, Alman, and thank you.
Right. So there's the link for Claire View.
I was like, what just happened?
I know, because my name is Claire Bear. Like, I never had a name on my channel before. It was just my name, like my nickname. And then I named my channel, so people get a little confused because Google doesn't let you switch back and forth very well. But I'm still the bear. Definitely still the bear.
Right. Next up.
Keenan. I like Keenan. Can I talk about Keenan?
Yeah, you can talk.
Go ahead. I'll be back.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
All right. Keenan Wyatt is the audio technician since the 90s for Johnny Depp. He's got a long-term relationship with him. He loves to work with him. Johnny loves him so much, he asks, hey, if you want to do it with me, I would like Keenan to be part of it if he's available. Defense tried to make that into a big thing, like Keenan was paid for his testimony. But Keenan was actually able to say, hell to no, that ain't true. I only get paid industry standard, and you can prove it, and I can prove it in black and white, so take that. And I loved him for it. I absolutely loved him for it because he didn't bat an eye. He also testified that he had heard that Amber was claiming in a flight that he was on personally that Johnny Depp abused her, and he said, no, I was there. That didn't happen. I didn't see that. I was there the whole time. Where am I going to go on a plane? Where am I going to go on a plane that I'm not going to see this happen? Okay. He was on that flight and he never witnessed Johnny do any of that. He did witness Johnny ignoring her, which is why she's making this big story. Everybody knows you don't ignore Amber Heard. If you don't want her to start lying and telling a big story about you, don't ignore Amber Heard. You know, but that's what he testified, that he saw Johnny completely ignoring her, moving away from her, and he saw no evidence of abuse. And he was very good and solid about it. Loved his testimony. He was a good guy.
They tried to bring up that he was in Johnny Depp's contract. And
he is, as a request. He is. He is.
But shows that he works well with him. He works well with him.
He does, but they tried to twist it and say as if he was paid, and he's not. He could prove in black and white he only gets paid industry standard, and it's not unusual for someone to request a specific person, and as long as you're only paying industry standard, there's nothing wrong with that. Like if I like streaming with you, Randy, in regards to somebody else, I'm allowed to stream with you. If we have contracts and it's person A or person B, as long as we're still doing and getting paid the same, what does it matter if I prefer you over the other one? I'm not actually playing favorites or getting paid to do anything better. You know, like it was ridiculous how they tried it. They looked foolish doing it. And I loved Keenan for slapping them back on it. I really did. It was good because he admitted, he almost said, his testimony said, yeah, I'm his friend. So what? Yeah, we like to work together. So what? Yeah, we're on movies all the time. Yeah, so what? We drink together. So what? It doesn't mean Johnny's an abuser. I could still come here and say he's a good person. I like working with him. I never saw any abuse. That's the truth. You know, that's the problem with the defense. They can't argue with the truth as much as they're trying. Well, I love this testimony.
Yeah. And in my opinion, it just, so I have issues with the media anyways, with all of the false information that's put out there.
Yes.
So for years we've heard, oh my God, Johnny Depp wore an earpiece. Oh my God. And then to
Mhm.
have this dude come on and be like, yeah, he had an earpiece. He was listening to classical music. I about spit my coffee out. I was like,
Exactly. Yeah,
you know,
they're
it's like,
trying to turn everything, and they didn't even bother to find out the fact before they tried to use it against him. Because what lawyer wouldn't know what Keenan got paid if he was going to try to throw it in his face? Really? Like that to me, that was like bad legal manners, like a little sloppy, don't you think, Mandy? I mean, we're used
I,
to seeing a little bit better lawyering, to tell you the truth.
it's
You don't
just
bring it
funny because
up if you don't know what they're going to say. You
all of these
don't bring
points
it up.
all of these points they're trying to make, and then the person's like, yeah, that never happened. It's just like, it's embarrassing. It really is.
Mm. Oh, I'm sorry. That was me because I had the buttons. I'm so Oh, you're going to be sorry you gave me buttons. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Oh,
Sorry. I hit my mouse and it went fluey. Oh, my gosh.
I
it's
like
all
no
right.
buttons. I can
I
barely
know.
control my phone.
There we go. I've got it back up. No big deal. No big deal. Listen, before we move on, well, actually, I'm going to move on to the next thing that I want to discuss right now. So here we go. Have a look at this. And this is quite a decent channel. I don't know if you know about it or have heard about it or seen about it.
Nah, nobody knows that one.
This is my co-host and Mandy right now. Both of these work together on this channel. And as you can see, just over 1,000 subscribers. But look at all the videos that you've already got lined up. We've got Black Mirror Review, Shut Up and Dance with what's that? Jack, Kim, and Claire. Midnight Madness Mayhem, Science, Sex, and Superheroes.
Oh, that's going to be lit. Yeah.
True crime and legal drama. Amber Hibblings and Avatar's Library.
I'm actually excited about that one. That's two real men talking about men too. How this whole thing affects them. That's going to be great. I'm really excited.
So just so that everyone knows that there is a plethora of balance here. If there's something you're interested in, I'm sure that Claire will have a video or two out there that actually gets into that. But you can actually see how many videos she already does. She's very, very.
But do you see that picture, the one there with Johnny and Camille? That's what I was talking about. Our recap on Thursday. If you go like that one right there, the one I highlighted. Do you see the way they're looking? It's so evident that they are so enjoying how pissed she gets at their interaction. I loved that. I put that up for Mandy, especially when we did the recap, because I just like, she's going to catch on to this one. I know we're going to be talking about this. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's Claire's channel, and I'm going to copy it and post it again. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go straight on to Johnny Depp because he was next on the stand. He was the next one.
I can give you, like, if you give me 5 minutes, I can tell you everybody else, so that we can finish with Johnny if you want. Because
do you want to finish? Do you want to finish with Johnny, or go to someone else?
Well, the only big ones that you have are Johnny and Dr. Curry, because everyone else, is you got the divorce attorney, you have all of the both of the house managers from England and from the Bahamas and from Australia. You have Tara Roberts and you have Ben King. Oh my God, who both basically gave the same kind of testimony. They were responsibility for the house, that they saw Amber a la natural in her finest, bad attitude, drinking, carrying on, being histrionic. Basically, that's what their testimony boiled down to.
Here we go. Let's look here.
But we'll go. I'll go to Johnny. This was emotional.
Well, you're right. Let's bring Johnny up after. Okay. Let's leave Johnny till last.
Okay. So
hang on. So here we go. I've got it ready to go. Why is it not gone? There we go. So before we get to Dr. Shannon Corey, we actually had the lady that runs his estate on the island, Tara Roberts, right?
Mhm.
Yes, yeah, she was one of the estate managers. She was this the Bahamas? Was this the Bahamas house, right?
Yeah.
The yurt in the Bahamas that they had rented.
I was quite
for-
surprised at how much she made, which was $10,000 a month, right?
Hey, it's island style, come on.
That's some wage.
It's island living. It's island stuff, So
10,000 a month. That's a good
Mhm.
wage. And then Johnny put it up by a few dollars. Do you remember?
He actually gave her a raise.
practical joke. Yeah.
She also testified that she actually saw damage on Johnny. This was the first person who said, I saw Johnny with bruises, besides the security guard, besides
in
Sean
Australia.
Depp.
In Australia, when he had his before he had his finger chopped off, and then on another occasion as well, when
She testified she witnessed Amber throwing things at him and verbally abusing him, and that she saw marks on him.
and she held him back, and she jumps in front of the car, and she wouldn't let him leave. And do you remember this? She wouldn't let him leave. And then eventually they had to get her away because she was distraught that he was going away from her. Do you remember that?
Right, and she was the first one to take the stand after Johnny's testimony. This was the only other thing that was perhaps on the defense's team, that they were able to get her to admit that she did witness Johnny fall face first into a hammock drunk once, and that she did arrange for his children to leave. I know, right? Like, if I'm drunk, I'm gonna fall face first in a hammock too. It's on an island, for Christ's sake. Like, of course I am. But anyway, that's besides the point. But they thought that was a big win, because you could practically see Rottenborn just jumping up and down, which it really didn't mean anything. But they also did get her to admit that she did arrange for both of the children to leave the island because of desertion between Amber and Johnny at one point. That things were heated at times, and it wasn't really good for the kids to be around. So that could be taken both ways, though.
I do like how Amber's team tried to get her by saying, well, yes, but you didn't see the beginning of that argument, did you? And you didn't see the reason that he got stuff thrown at him, did you? Because she marked across the nose. I believe that's what
she did.
She saw was across the nose. And they were trying to be like, well, he could have been, running after her, and she threw it. So they were trying to get her to admit that she hadn't seen the beginning of the argument. But I think that it just fell on deaf ears. I really do.
It did, because of how small. Once they showed how small this place was, like, that just fell on deaf ears, because, like, there's no way. Like, she would have heard. She would have seen. If she saw the throwing of the stuff, she would have saw the beginning. She would have heard the beginning of it if it was out of turn like that. And besides, if this was a man did it, would it matter the reason he threw it at her?
Right.
Like, it's bullshit. Like, that's what I say. Okay, she did it. Oh, what's the reason? Like, he called her a name? Oh, you know what the reason was? He didn't want to be right with her 24/7. He was trying to remove himself from her barrage of abusive content at him, her nagging or whatever she was doing. So he tried to walk away. So she threw something at him. That's the reason. Right? Well,
right. Next one. We did have Dr. Shannon Curry was the next one.
Oh, God.
Who wants to go on her? Listen, let me just say, I kind of phrased that wrong, because I would like to have a go on her. But
you know what? You're gonna have to fight us all for it, right, Mandy? Because, man, she's on my list, and I'll get. You know what? I have to fight you for her, Randy. I would, but I've already got 6 hours in on talking about her on my channel, so I'm gonna be quiet and let the two of you go for Shannon, because, oh my God, she is gorgeous.
Go ahead, Mandy.
She's extremely qualified. She's well-spoken. She submitted 25 pages of like a recap of how she got to her diagnoses, I guess you could say. She was well spoken. She was absolutely likable. I man, this is the field that I'm working at going into, and I just respect the shit out of her. And she didn't have to be up there with her notes
Yeah.
trying to read off of a script. I uh, I I just admire the shit out of this woman. And you know, they tried to get her and she shot it down with the whole muffin gate. I think that was
Oh,
hilarious because I think that once again showed the jury that Amber has this overinflated sense of entitlement, that she thinks that a doctor is willing to jeopardize her career by telling their spouse, oh, I'm meeting with Amber Heard, who's a nobody, when she basically said, no, that's not what happened. It was appalling to me that Elaine or any of them would even bring up the fact that, oh, your husband knew that you were getting muffins for Amber Heard. And she was like, no. Like, it was just, they're digging. They're so desperate. They're trying everything that they possibly can to diminish somebody's testimony and make it like she was trying to do something nefarious, when I believe the whole entire time it's Amber's team that's trying to do these really unethical sorts of things. So I'm super impressed. I loved her. She is amazing. And that's she said exactly what Amber was and exactly how Amber is behaving now. So I'm glad that they put her where they put her so that the jury can look at her explaining how she got to her point, explaining the analysis, how she did everything, and then to have that basically a little while later followed up by Dr. Hughes. That's embarrassing. Embarrassing.
Do you remember when they tried to get her with dinner and drinks? And they turned around to her and said, you went for dinner and drinks, didn't you? No, I went for an interview. Drinks and dinner were served.
Exactly, because the legal team, she specified the legal team, as rightly so, invited me to an interview so that we could discuss what my role would be, what my offerings of testimony could be, what I would present. And that is absolutely appropriate because she's a paid consultant, she's a paid expert, and she's supposed to do that. But that was ridiculous, trying to, like, she would sell out that career for a drink with Johnny Depp.
Exactly.
Like look at the woman. Like, she needs to do that. She could have snapped her fingers and Johnny would have showed up at her place. Okay. Like, it didn't have to go that way. Okay. No. I don't like Elaine for that. They're sketchy that way. It's bad legal manners, in my opinion. They really pissing me off.
For me, Dr. Shannon Curry, she ticked all the boxes. She did everything that you would need to do to test for PTSD. She did everything that she didn't actually diagnose it because that isn't her job. She isn't, she's not board she's not board certified to actually say she has this or she has that. But what
it doesn't matter if she's board certified in the US. That I love how they tried to play on the not being board certified. No, that's only another level of where she can be. She can be a forensic psychologist and not be board certified and absolutely 1000% diagnose people. They were trying to get in a dig at her by saying she wasn't board certified and Dr. Hughes is. It doesn't matter. No. It does. Yeah.
It would have worked if they had got the years right, because they also tried to say she only had 8 years of experience and she had to correct them and say, I'm sorry, it's 16, please.
Yeah, being board certified is just another. It's like a certificate. it's a certificate
gold
for a
star.
specific
Yeah.
specialization. There's a little bit more education involved, but it does not have anything to do with an evaluation or expertise of somebody.
Actually, board certification isn't really additional education. What it is additional continuing education. It is a certification that says that every period of time you will go through and do everything you can to get all of these what you call continuing education units to keep your certification. It means like if you're a specialist in something, like she is going to be forensic psychology, not just regular psychology. It means that you've passed a test that say you know all of the expertise in regards to forensic. And then because you have the certification, it is like a commitment to continuing that education through seminars and conferences and all of this on a regular basis to keep up to date. It really just means I keep up to date. It doesn't mean she doesn't. Just because she doesn't have that piece of paper. Because I'm sure if you heard her talk, she does. After all, she used the newest test, not Dr. Hughes. But anyway, I digress.
Because, and I think that's what they were trying to do was mess with the jury's head. It doesn't mean that she's not licensed. It doesn't mean that she doesn't have a PhD in forensic psychology. It's just another box to check that, hey, I've got this certification.
Exactly.
It's hard in the US. It doesn't.
It doesn't change how you get paid or how you what's licensing you get, where you can practice, or how you could. It doesn't change any of that. So it doesn't change anything in the insurance industry. None of it. It doesn't change anything. Like I said, it really speaks mostly about continuing education units and her having to travel all over to get them and take time away from her practice to do it. So I don't know.
I like how they did try to do that though. Like when Dr. Hughes got up, oh, you're board certified. Well, whatever.
Well,
exactly.
Just before we move on from that point, I actually have something to show, which is this. Now, I did a poll. Well, this was after a day. This was 58,000 votes. 58,000 people voted on my little channel over here, and 99% of them believed that Dr. Shannon Curry was right, and only 1% believed that Dawn Hughes was right.
Yeah. I can only giggle. I'm sorry. I can only giggle because I'm so there with that because of how biased the other one was. But that's another conversation. Yeah.
We can wait for that. She's coming up soon. But this
she's a
was
man
the
hater.
result of that. I just thought that was interesting, just to show that. So big thumbs up from everyone with Dr. Shannon Curry, right?
Yes.
Okay, right. Who was next? Let's see. Who did they bring on? I think it was the police officer.
Yeah, we have them all together. Like they all did the same thing. They had the same testimony. They got asked the same questions. It was kind of redundant. Even though I know Randy, you were so excited to get this testimony out. Like
it was in regards to
it
was in regards to the incident at the
penthouse.
The penthouse. And Amber alleged, well, she actually submitted evidence, photographic evidence of damage to the apartment, etc. And these witnesses were brought in to say that they didn't see what was being shown, essentially that they didn't see any damage. They didn't see any red wine. So it proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that her and her cohort friends are not averse to actually staging events to make it look like somebody's guilty of something, and they will work together to do that. And that's been evidenced by what happened with Eve Barlow when she got Gina Dutas kicked off the stand. I mean, that's who they are. That's the type of mentality of the friends that she associates with. So these police officers, who I'm sure will have been, gone down well with the jury of being truthful, honest, law-abiding, obviously all that, and they didn't see any of this, and that nullifies her claim about what she alleges happened in the apartment. Yeah,
this was Melissa Sines, and there was Tyler Hayden, who's her actual partner, and then there was from the second set of officers was William Gatlin. They all testified to seeing Amber without injury, And when
Yeah.
pressed, why was Amber's cheek red or whatever, they were repeatedly told, well, your face gets red when you cry. That she was crying. It was true, but she would not offer any testimony. She called them there just for damages that they did not see. Any damage to the apartment or the penthouse, any damage to Amber, any distress whatsoever. They actually, 2 sets of officers documented the same exact thing. There was a lot from the defense about whether or not proper reports were being filed, and they actually had to go on protocol and say, we only file a report if there is something to file a report on. It actually didn't look good for Elaine when they get to keep saying there wasn't anything to file a report about. What are you talking about? Like, there wasn't. They did
Right.
not violate protocol. There was not any misstep. They tried what they could to get that out there for the jury. They just keep hammering this stuff as if the jury isn't smart enough to see what they're doing. But I think the jury's going to believe an officer who says, if I saw something, I would have reported it. There is forms. I know the forms I should have filled out if there was something to fill out. Amber would not give any evidence. She would not talk to them. She wouldn't even talk to them about why she called them there. So what are they supposed to report on if they don't see anything? Like, it was a bit painful to watch the somersaults that the defense was doing to try to pull it out of these officers, but they stuck to their ground. They said they saw no injuries. They said they saw no damage. They said they filed the accurate reports, and I think it went through that way. This is from the incidents in May 2016 at the Columbia building where the penthouses are, with a staged wine and all that we talked about. Ranty, let you love to show the picture.
Oh, I could always show the picture.
And also remember this, and I'm hoping that it comes up during cross. In Amber's witness statement from that night, Johnny grabbed a Magnum bottle of wine. He was swinging it around the penthouse like a baseball bat. Wine was all over the walls. There was glass all over the place. Everything was knocked over. There was this, that, and the other. So they're saying that he did all of this. He walked down the hall. He dented a door. There was wine everywhere. He had this Magnum bottle of wine. 2 issues I have with that. Number 1, when he walks into the elevator to leave the penthouse, he does not have a Magnum bottle of wine. His white hat has no wine on it. If he is slamming around a Magnum bottle of wine, breaking glass, everything is going all over the place, how did his beautiful white hat stay completely unscathed in the process?
Exactly.
Also, the evidence that they have, the metadata is messed up. Those pictures were taken allegedly, I think it was 9:04, which makes absolutely no sense because the police officers were in the elevator. They would have seen it.
Exactly.
So again, if they use her witness statement against her for that alleged incident, then there's going to be a lot of information that she's going to be able to be perjured on. So again, it's if they bring in that witness statement, I guess we'll just have to see. So
what it does is it goes to how truthful the witness is, and can you rely upon the witness? And if you can disprove one solid incident with, because this was with photographs, don't forget, they provided photographs, they called the police, they provided photographs to say this incident happened. And yet we have police officers and everybody else turning around and saying and proving that this did not happen. So if you disprove that, then in the mind, who's rattling?
I'm sorry, it's a piece of paper.
It's
the list. Yeah.
And then in the minds of the jury, they're going to be saying to themselves, well, if they can stage this one event and if they can create this scenario and film it and take photographs of it, couldn't they do the same in Australia? Couldn't they do the same somewhere else? You know, why should we believe them there?
Exactly. Mandy, who's left from the penthouse still on the witness list that may come forward? I believe Io. Is Io still on the list? I mean, I know we scheduled.
I believe that Io is deposition, but Io was in New York. He wasn't
Yeah,
even
but
there.
he just gets to call and say, this is what I heard. Remember, that's what his testimony is. This is what I heard on the phone from Amber. And I called the police because of what I heard. He's trying to say he heard what was going on between Amber and Johnny.
And also, again, why did he scrub his whole entire Instagram? So
yeah, why did that disappear right after he found out Rocky Pennington wasn't going to testify? Gee.
Yeah, and what's up with that? Nice picture. Rocky Pennington is the one. So here's the deal. We have two people that could potentially be problematic. We have Rocky Pennington that alleges that she was there. But now we hear that maybe there was a blowout between the two and she will not be there. The other person that would be brought in on Amber's team would be Whitney. Problem with Whitney is she refused to sit for her deposition with Depp's team. So on Amber's witness list, on Johnny's rebuttal,
they contested it. They can rebuttal if she wouldn't sit. She can't call. They can't call her, right?
Yeah, they contested Whitney because she refused to sit for her deposition. Here's what I know. Apparently, Whitney had a child in March of this year at some point. She was supposed to give them 3.5 hours to be split between the two. She only sat for Amber's team and then had to leave because she wasn't feeling well. Well, in order to allow her to testify in this case, Depp's team said she either sit for the rest of her deposition with us or they can't call her. Elaine then turned around and said, well, if you make her sit, we're going to use up the entire 3.5 hours and you're going to get nothing. So that's problematic. Another issue that's problematic is apparently Whitney's lawyer is the same LA lawyer that is Amber's, so there's a huge conflict there. So
I would say they are not putting Whitney on the stand, because if they do, they got her boss's letter that's out there already to contest anything that she says.
Yeah,
it would be a bad move legally for the defense to put Whitney on the test. It is automatically going to be. There's too much. I mean, it doesn't even qualify in the rules of evidence and testimony if she didn't sit for the deposition. And if Elaine threatened them like that, and that's part of the record, I don't think a judge or anybody else is going to stand for that kind of crap.
Here's my thing. Again, back to the fact that I've read too many witness statements. Whitney's witness statement is that she got between Amber and Johnny during the staircase incident. In her witness statement, she says she was facing Amber. Now, you guys think about this rationally for a second. If two people are going at it and you get in between them in attempts to stop what's going on, do you turn your back to the abuser?
No.
Or do you look at the abuser and try to stop the situation?
You confront the person who is doing the aggression.
She was trying to stop her sister from hitting Johnny. And then the security guard got in between them. So in my mind, I'm thinking Johnny facing him, security guard's back to Whitney. Whitney facing Amber, and Amber still jumps up and hits Johnny in the face with two people separating them.
Exactly. And that's Whitney's telling of the story to her boss. Her boss clearly lays that out in a letter to Whitney about her testimony to the court, about to the attorneys rather, on Johnny's side, that she was going to tell them exactly what Whitney said, because she wanted her out of that situation and she didn't want her to perjure herself in court, that she was going to tell her that the truth was going to come out, so she shouldn't perjure herself, because she did tell her boss that she tried to stop her sister from attacking Johnny. And she said it in front of witnesses, not just the boss. The boss's husband was there, and I think somebody else, right? I can't remember who it was, but it's in the letter.
Right. Let's move on to this guy. Let's move on. Do you remember this guy's testimony?
The guy that drove away.
The
Okay, this is the
vapor.
security guard from the front desk, right? This is
I don't even want to be
Alejandro
here.
Romero.
I don't wanna
Alejandro
be
Romero.
here.
I don't want to be here. I don't want to talk about Amber anymore. I would need to vape and I need to drive away.
I thought this was all over and done with. I'm gonna come and talk to you guys.
Let's see. Alejandro Romero. He was called up to the penthouse to look at damage on a front door that he clearly states was the dog. Little
That was
scratches
4
from the
inches off the
dog. There was 4 inches off the ground. I doubt very much. What is Johnny doing? Like crawling around on the floor and scratching it with his hand? Like, come on, get out of here. Like,
Well, he
nice
did say
try.
that he did say that he saw Amber Heard the day after the incident, and he would have recognized. He didn't specifically look for a bruise or a mark on her face, but he would have noticed a bruise or a
Right.
mark on her face.
Mhm.
And the fact that he didn't notice that or any swelling or anything, that
Mhm.
didn't trigger anything with him, because he's one of these type of guys that just notices things. If it's just normal and everyday, you're not going to pick up on it. So
He does get a gold star for amusing the judge. She did get quite a kick out of the fact that he drove away. She said, "Well, that never happened before." Pretty funny. Yeah, she was amused.
And he was super quick-witted because
Mhm.
you know they're trying to talk about this Amica cream. And
Oh my God.
he was so smart. He was like, basically, what I respected just completely is he was like, oh, okay, well, maybe there was a bruise that was covered under makeup, but there was no swelling. There was no this. There was no that. And I think when he did that, it just was like, God,
Yep.
you guys are stupid. Yeah.
Yep.
yeah,
Oh my
he
And
was.
he's done. He's like you said, this is 6 years that all of these people have been dealing with this bullshit.
They're just tired
over
of it. They're
Yeah, they're
tired.
done.
They're so tired of it. You could see that in all of the financial people's, like there was so many financial people that they brought forward for that. Was a lot. Oh God, we're not even halfway through.
Oh, we are.
We are. Okay.
Yeah,
Because I mean,
we
we could actually lump all of the financial people together and just pick out the ACLU guy, that guy who is I love this.
Christian Carino.
Christian Carino, ex-agent from the agency. He kept Amber Heard. Johnny moved on with Wiggum, who was from the same agency, but he proved black and white financial interest. He proved that Johnny lost pirates because of Amber Heard. He said it. He said
and
it.
that Amber never loved Elon.
And he embarrassed Amber by saying that Amber was messing around with Elon, but she was actively trying to get Johnny's attention during the time he was a witness to it. He was a witness to Amber trying to violate the NDA, the TRO. He was the witness because he was Amber's friend or friendly enough, but he's tired of the bullshit too. He's telling the truth. Even though he doesn't think it's a big deal, what he did say was a big deal about Amber's behavior.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Who have we got next?
I had one.
That's Christian too. Go ahead.
One more thing about Christian Carino. I just want to put out there. This is Lady Gaga's fiance. You're welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you. She got all the little deets. I like letting her do that because she got listen, Mandy is my favorite Easter egg. End of story. Okay. You know about Easter eggs that appear in things? Mandy is the Easter egg for everything I do. Like everything.
This was Johnny
divorce lawyer.
Divorce lawyer. But let's just say that was a few years ago, and she still looks pretty hot now. So imagine 6-7 years ago, she was probably even hotter.
Ooh,
so
Laura Wasser? Yeah,
I think she's quite attractive, and I'm going to say that he's got this thing about hiring attractive women, right?
You do realize it's California. It's law. It's the industry. Like you do realize, Randy.
Oh, so only pretty people can be a lawyer Is that right?
Well, no, it's the land. What I'm saying is it's the land of Botox and surgery is what I'm saying.
I'll be right
Randy.
back.
Okay, it is.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying like I could go there and I could look 20 years younger in a week if I wanted. Okay, I'm just saying. All right. Well,
I'm
Laura
simple.
Wasser.
I'm simple. I'm just a man. What can I say?
Yes, and from what you told me, it's been a couple of years, so I think most of them look real good right now. I think you're going to have to admit to being a little biased.
I think you said that the first time we watched this, so I actually think now that you actually think she's not that good looking, right?
I think she's an average. I don't think that she's not good looking. I think she's an average looking, well put together woman who takes care of herself. Well,
Maybe it's
is
because
she a knockout? Is she Shannon Curry? No. Is she Shannon Curry? No.
Must be
Well,
where I live then.
Well, can I tell you about her besides her looks? Like, can we get
Of
to what
course
she
you can,
actually
yeah.
did to the trial? Okay, because
the blackmail letter.
yeah.
The blackmail letter. Let's get
the
on to that.
yes, let's get on. This is the divorce attorney who represented Johnny Depp, and she actually was able to put forth that there was email correspondence between Amber Heard's attorney and herself, which clearly, remember, there's testimony out there in through op-eds and articles and interviews that Amber get that said, I asked nothing of Johnny Depp. I wanted nothing but my divorce, to the tune of $15 million. Okay, because what she actually did was present a demand letter in writing to Johnny Depp's attorney and Johnny Depp, stating, I want not one penthouse, but all three, all where my friends live. I want them all. I want the Range Rover that I drive around in. I want $100,000 for my attorney fees right now by Friday, and I want $25,000 for forensic accounting because I tend to fleece you. Okay, they did leave the I intend to fleece you part out. I might be adding that based on what happened afterwards. But basically, that was the tone of the letter. It was blackmail. They said, and if we don't, we plan on Friday filing a TRO against you for domestic abuse.
And Johnny was nowhere to be found. I mean,
Johnny was in France. Was he in France or Spain? Spain. Johnny was in Spain. Okay.
Yeah, he wasn't
even in the country.
He was in New York at the time. So to go into a court of law with a fake bruise on your face and say that,
let's be clear that bruise was not there the day before. There's pictures of that.
Or the day after.
And she's saying it was a week old. Okay, let's be clear. But anyway, she presented the letter. She also presented that they should have gave them to the end of business that day, but they didn't. Amber was on those steps at 10 a.m. in the morning, giving a press release.
Okay, and let me point out. So I follow another lawyer in LA. Let me say a couple things real quick. First of all, there was no reason for her to actually attend court that day. It was unnecessary. She did not have to go to court that day.
Unless you want a press release.
There is a private entrance
at the rear.
At the rear for high profile people because it's LA and these things happen. So
Mandy, when you called all the reporters to be there to get the big story, like if you don't come out the front door with your bruise, I mean, come on. Like,
that was staged. Everything was a setup. Yep.
It was staged. Yeah, it was definitely staged. That is the testimony that she gave, right?
So yeah, I think she was an important witness. I think
she was.
Yeah, definitely. Right, let's move on to the next one. The following day, we actually got the ACLU.
Oh, okay. I love this man. Terrence Doherty. Poor Terrence. Don't you feel so? All right, can I ask you, Mandy? I didn't get to ask you this on our show. Don't you feel sorry for Terrence just a little bit?
I feel sorry for nobody that works at that company, period. End of story.
I just felt bad at how much I watched him squirm during his testimony, trying not to throw Amber under the bus, knowing he has to tell the truth. He did tell the truth, and he really damaged her credibility. And he told the truth about what happened with the op-ed. It's all out there now. Amber knew all about it. Amber directed it. Amber at the end said, can't you just add that all back in there because it makes a better story? That was Amber. Okay. Amber saying she had nothing to do with it, that everybody else did this, and the other thing, and she just put her name on it so she can't be accused of the defamation. Bullshit. The ACLU just came out and said you were active in the process the whole time. The information came from you and it got pushed back and forth. You were CC'd on every single email. On every single email.
Not only that, but the donos.
And that, but you know what? And that just proves her to be a liar. Like, that's not even important to defamation. The defamation part is about the op-ed. The defamation part also is about he also testified to all of the gigs that she got, all of that he did it so that she could get promoted up, that she was hot with Aquaman at the time, that she did it for personal gain. The ACLU actually inadvertently helped push that legal end of this vote, like towards defamation.
And
at
it
least
was,
in my opinion. Yeah.
and it was all political. They
Right.
had a political agenda because nobody hate me, please. Right now, I'm going to say Trump's name. There was a political agenda because Trump was in office and people wanted this to come out during a very important time. So there's a lot of other things that surround this that people really need to think about.
They do. The whole Me Too movement, the whole Weinstein, the whole climate back then, it was definitely, this was like key for this kind of a statement to come out and just slam right on him. There wasn't anything Johnny would be able to do against the onslaught that was going to hit him.
There
innocent
is
or not.
zero reason why the American Liberty Civil Union should be associated with any sort of political stance. Period.
Exactly.
End of story. It's this country. We all know this. It's absolute bullshit. But to hear that they wanted it to come out during this time, to hear that it came out 2 days after Aquaman, to hear that they were searching for what publication to put it in,
that it was like an ad, and they actually referred to this opinion piece as an ad hoc for Amber Heard to promote her business with Aquaman. Come on, if that doesn't prove financial gain and incentive for defamation, I don't know what is. The ACLU, poor Terrence Doherty, actually is the best witness for proving intent with Amber Heard and the ACLU. And he didn't try to do it. He tried everything he could not to say it. He squirmed, he hesitated, he did whatever, but the truth came out. And I kind of felt for him a little bit because he has a big job with donors. And remember, in their eyes, Amber's a huge donor because after all, Elon Musk is paying everything for her and he's got a lot of money. And so he paid up her debt, whatever. That's just the crux of it. And he doesn't want to piss anybody off, not people that put that kind of money. They need donations and they don't want to be known for throwing donors under the bus, but they should be known for telling the truth, which he did. I'll give him that. But they also then put out, unfortunately, a statement to say they still back their advocate. But, I'm going to choke on the wrong
horse on that one now, didn't they?
Well, to call Amber Heard an advocate is the hugest oxymoron that I've ever heard of in 2022. It's got a new definition. I mean, that Amber Heard as an advocate is like big shrimp. You know what I mean? It just makes no sense. It's the exact opposite.
And we have to remember things that Amber has said in the past. I wanted nothing.
Bullshit.
$7 million donated.
Wait, yeah, but she asked for more than that. She asked for 15 when you add up all the penthouses and the car and the Range Rover, and $100,000 for her attorney and $25,000 for forensic accounting. Not to mention, she wanted a stipend for the way she lives. Like, wanted all her bills paid. Not only did she ask for those penthouses, she asked for every single bill in regards to them to be paid by Johnny Depp's team. And that's why the accountants came out and said that equaled $15 million.
Let me ask Ranty something. You're married to somebody for 15 months. When you get divorced, you end up paying that abusive woman $7 million, and you pay off all of the community debt. So in 15 months, you pay almost $14 million.
It was more than that. It was more than that because with the guy that's actually looking at now, he actually totals it all up to over 20 because it was tax free. So he had to make it so that there was 7 million tax free, and then all the communal stuff too.
Are we talking Edward White, or are we talking?
You guys, who
This guy.
goes through $7 million in 15 months? Like, I get I'm poor. Okay, I'm not poor. I'm financially fine. But to wrap my head around that sort of money in a 15-month period, I can't even do it. It's like,
here's a quote from Edward White, who you just showed on the screen. He said that he claimed that they started at $4 million, but her demand continually increased, and then it got worse and worse. The next demand was that all of his consideration be paid to her free of taxation, bringing it to upwards of $20 million. Yep.
Yeah.
Big expense for Johnny Depp. That's like one
and
of his most major
his
feature films.
Business manager. That is Edward White. That's not the guy who spoke about the industry. That one was Richard Marx. This one is Edward White, was Johnny's personal financial manager, business manager, not personal, but business manager. He took the stand to discuss all of the business arrangements that were between Amber and Johnny, and even some of what happened with the production companies, with Warner Brothers and Disney and stuff like that.
So his testimony was pretty good for the financial side of things.
It proved loss, and it also proved incentive in some ways with Amber, I think. This is Terrence
Malcolm Connolly.
Malcolm Connolly. I love that accent.
He was good. He had a great thick Scottish accent, right?
Yes,
he did. And he was in Australia, and he went with them a lot. And he
obviously the scratches maybe on his left ear.
Oh my God!
Two marks, 2 lines, 2 charms.
I'm swooning. I can't talk when you do that, Ranty. That's the best shut up Claire button you got.
He saw a lot of things. He saw a lot of injuries to Johnny. He was there. He was actually there on the road trip, right? You know, when they went away to Coachella, was it? Coachella?
Yes. Yeah.
And Coachella. He gave testimony about that incident too, about her taking drugs, right?
Yes, he did. That he witnessed mushrooms. Yeah, wasn't he? No, that was the chauffeur.
No,
that's the chauffeur, not him.
Sorry, I was coughing.
Yeah, I know. I got you, Mandy. It was Starling Jennings that gave that testimony. It is not Connolly gave the testimony about that things were really lovey-dovey in the beginning with Johnny and Amber, and he watched it turn. He watched Amber get aggressive and needy and clawy and blah, 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 you know, like others have. But he also gave some of the funniest testimony about they wanted to know if Johnny was walking around naked and everything, and if his, peen was showing. And the guy said, I think if I had seen Johnny Depp's peen, I would remember. It was one of the funniest moments of the trial for me, actually, because they didn't know what they did. The defense, they keep stepping in it, and they just, yeah, they did look a bit foolish.
Do you remember this one? Think I'd remember if I'd seen Johnny Depp's penis.
Oh, I swear, Reggie, sometimes I think my mic's not working. I think I actually just said it.
You did. Sorry, I was. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
I know. I'm around you so much. It's so easy to forget I'm here. I know. Well, it's okay. But,
I didn't think you'd have gone down that route so quickly, but then I remembered it's you. So
this is true. Anybody that sees my content would know that's exactly where I went. It was funny. It was so fun. I have to find the humor in this serious stuff, or I'd lose my mind, because I do take it quite seriously when they go out of their way to misrepresent the truth. Oh, so, this is terrible. Oh,
Yeah.
This,
This was
yeah,
a big bruise on his nose, wasn't it? This one.
it was. And they showed this evidence, and that was part of Malcolm's testimony to show the change in Johnny. Johnny became withdrawn. Johnny became like something was bothering me more and more often. And he watched the change in both Amber and Johnny. And this picture clearly shows it. Johnny does not look like who we see on a regular basis in this picture. It looks like something's going on. He does not look well. He looks shocked. He
He was
looks
asked,
withdrawn. Yeah.
how do you think he got the bruise? And he said, well, either he
Well,
walked
he-
into a door or a door walked into him.
Mhm.
That was his exact quote.
But when you look there and you see the dominance in her stance, and you see the withdrawal of him, all of the testimony that Amber gives about what it would be like the day after, well, that's Johnny, not her. She's talking about Johnny, not herself, because all of the evidence and the pictures and the people's testimony that have come forward all depict Johnny as the victim in those cases and not Amber.
Mm-hmm. I'll agree with that. Yeah, good. He was a good witness, a great witness.
Mhm.
So was this. This guy was. Yeah,
That's Starling.
He was solid enough, wasn't he? Ex-Marine.
Yeah. This Starling Jennings, he's the chauffeur. That's the man you're speaking of, driving to Coachella with them in a separate car, but witnessed her doing mushrooms and MDMA and with her friends partying and having a good old time.
And under cross, they tried to say that because he said that he'd seen Amber being sick, vomiting in the street, and
Right.
they
And
tried to say that that it was Whitney because she was pregnant. And he's
Mhm.
like,
But no, he knows the difference between the two. They look totally different, and he did testify to that. But he also gave some of the best testimony about Amber admitting about the present she left Johnny on the bed.
oh yes.
Yes, that was the first time the poop entered the child.
Oopsie.
Oops, there you go. Amber actually discussed that with him in the car and said that it was a practical joke gone wrong. Never mentioned the dogs doing it. Actually just admitted it was a practical joke gone wrong, and that she had left a surprise for Johnny on the bed and was surprised about the reaction that it got. I don't know why she'd be surprised about the reaction it got, but
If anybody, I would not advise anybody to go and have a look at that particular poopsie because it doesn't genuinely look human. I mean,
no, I did show it to Ranty, and he did almost barf on screen. I wouldn't do it, and because he's like,
I wouldn't put anybody through that again because it
Mhm.
was grotesque.
Yep.
And if that came out of her, I have no idea how rotten her insides are, honestly. Right, next one. We have, well, we'll get into the juicy stuff now. But this particular lady, I don't rightly recall too much about her. Who was this one?
It's her nurse.
Oh, yes, they wanted to get her in at the very end. Yeah, she was very forgettable, I think.
Which is unfortunate because if you read her notes, not in the trial, these are the notes that Amber talks about her addiction to cocaine, liking cocaine and MDMA, having a man up in the apartment doing MDMA with that her husband doesn't know about. So I'm hoping that it stuck with the jury more than maybe us, because in her nurse's notes, there's some really, really nurses' notes are patient stated, patient stated, patient stated. So by her saying things, like having, somebody up to the apartment doing MDMA with and admitting to liking coke, that completely blows everything that Amber's saying right now just out of the water. And the funny thing is, I didn't watch Amber's testimony, but I've seen a lot of clips. And one of the clips that I've seen that really made me laugh as somebody who is a recovered addict, like 16 years, when she said dime bag, I about died, because if you don't know, if you're trying to show that you're not a person that has done a lot of coke or done a lot of drugs, for her to call it a dime bag, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, slip of the tongue there by her.
Yeah.
But The reason I think she was forgettable, this particular witness, was because all she ever said was, well, I just refer to my notes. You know, if it's in my notes, it's in my notes. She never actually, I can recall maybe a couple of times where she actually used her own voice to say something. She would always say, well, let me check my notes if it's in my notes. Otherwise, I don't really recall. You know, it was very frustrating. So, yeah, that's why she's forgettable. That's why I forgot about her, to be honest. I couldn't remember who the hell she was. Next up, we have.
Oh. Wait,
Again,
which one?
Again, who's this? I don't recall him.
No, is that Richard Marks? Is that the founder of entertainment law firm?
Oh,
Richard
right,
Marks
yeah.
and Associate. He gave all of the testimony about what it's like. It's either him or it's Banya. Wait a minute. No, it's the other one.
Was he the one that did Jaws? He's the one that he's the guy that seals the deals.
Yes, but it's not the other guy. It's is this Michael Spindler, the other accountant? No, that was a younger guy. Hold on.
No, that's Richard Marks.
Is that Richard Marks? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then Richard Marks is he's the founder of entertainment law firm. He actually gave testimony about the damage of the loss of contracts and from the Washington Post op-ed, how much the cancel situation. He actually did predictions on the cancel situation. And why that affected Johnny, and that was very, very big. And although boring, this part of the testimonies, we all admit it didn't have as much drama. These financial witnesses were absolutely mandatory to lay down the second part of defamation that has to be brought forward, which was the loss. Johnny has to prove he was financially impacted by her words, or there's no case. And I think they did a good job. I really do.
Yeah.
So he's providing. Oh no, this was the guy that did. Oh no, this was this guy that did these graphs.
That's Douglas Banya. Then that's Banya.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah. He wasn't. He was a bit. I
can
agree with Amber Heard. I can agree with Amber Heard's side on this. Actually, that a lot of what he was picking did seem very cherry picked. I mean, you could argue. You could argue one way or the other with a lot of his interpretations of what he actually showed.
Because he was trying to use Q statistics and Q ratings and things that don't really, the average person isn't going to understand. There's such finesse in like whether you take account and that into account, and it's not straightforward. It is very speculative, and I wasn't very pleased that they used this or that he presented it the way that he did.
Yeah,
they were just trying to prove a number on domestic abuse allegations that couldn't be put, there.
Now, this was them trying to get it.
I love that the conversation in chat is about dime bags.
This is true. This is the best chat ever, Mandy. Like, I love it over here.
We're weighing up dime bags in the chat.
Yeah, they are because nobody cares about Banya's Q score. I'm telling you, nobody did. Yeah, nobody did. Yeah, that's perfect. Mm-hmm. Oh no, she's for the other side. Are we there already?
We're there already. Yeah, I've just skipped through the fact that we tried to get the case shut down after Johnny had made his presentation, but I think that's normal.
Didn't work, and that is because they had 3 parts to prove. They proved 2 of them right out of the box. The judge said so, and the only reason she didn't say about part 1 is they were arguing about the admission of a damn text by Amber Heard. Tweet. Yes, not a text, a tweet, where she actually took ownership of that op-ed by retweeting it and stating that it was hers. And there's some going back and forth about that because it's killer to the defense if it gets in. Okay, because then you've got all 3, right? And anyway, motion of dismiss denied.
So
what about this lady?
Can I make a statement really quick? I just saw something in chat.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to verify. So I did a quick Google. As of April 21st, 2022, Johnny still owns his island. So I don't know why people assume he doesn't own the island. He still owns the island. He sold the yacht.
That's right.
And he sold that to Oh, help me out.
Uh,
Who wrote all
I
the
don't
books?
know.
Yeah, you
what's
do.
it
Wait.
called?
George
Uh,
Martin.
No,
No.
the woman, Scottish woman who
J.K.
wrote
Rowling.
Harry
Excuse
Potter.
me. Thank you.
J.K.
Yes.
Harry
Rowling.
So,
There
Potter.
you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
Harry Potter. Yeah.
he sold the penthouses. He still owns Sweetser, from what I understand. He
Mhm.
still owns the island. He sold the yacht while they were married, I believe. But no, he still owns the island. It's called Hall's Pond Cay. So Hall's Halls Pond
I think he, I think he,
Pondcay.
I think he would keep the island because he has lots of pleasant memories there with his children and Vanessa. Like they've had that island for a while. He don't need the memories of Amber to interfere with that. He can make great ones there.
Yeah.
I'm glad he got rid of the penthouses because she was all over that.
She's such a bitch. Okay.
Sorry.
Right. Next up, we've got Ms. Hughes.
You're kind. You're very kind.
What do you think of Ms. Hughes' testimony?
I think she was biased. I think she used language that was inappropriate for 2022 in the way she spoke about abuse and about the statistics of women versus men and how she whenever she would talk about the victim, it was always her, she, women. When she talked about the perpetrator, it was always him, Johnny, them, he, male. She was very biased in her testimony. She's very accredited. I won't go against all of her accreditations or that she should know what she's talking about, which is why I was so disappointed, even knowing that she's a paid consultant, a paid expert, that she does have to be on their side. I would expect a little bit more in 2022 about equality in the use of language to express so. She was a hired gun. Her language says so. Period. A very slanted, biased opinion. And she tried to go for Shannon, so I don't like her.
Just think about it this way. The only time she has ever I'm trying to be nice and not curse on someone else's channel. The only time that she has ever sided or supported a man in a situation of intimate partner violence is when it was two men in a relationship. Think about that for a second. She is a man hater. And let me tell you what kind of bitch I am. I have Googled and searched and searched and searched. This woman does not have a husband. I cannot find any record of her having a husband, any record of her having a wife, any record of anything. So I believe that she is an angry, angry woman who despises men. There is evidence on that Umbrella Guy's channel that she has done other cases, and the team against her has asked for her removal in these cases because she is so biased. If you look up and read about her, she does PTSD, the partner violence, blah, 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 blah. And then it says, women's rights. This woman does not believe that men can be abused. She does not believe that men can be victims. I think she is completely unprofessional. The way that she rolled her eyes, the way that she had to use notes, the way that she diagnosed and discussed a relationship without ever speaking to Johnny, the way that she took everything Amber said as fact. She said she listened to audio tapes. So you mean to tell me you listened to audio where Amber said, I can't promise I will not get violent again. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them Johnny Depp, is the victim, and see how many people believe or side with you. You're telling me this woman listened to those tapes and came to the conclusion that Amber just reacted to Johnny's abuse? GTOF with that BS. I cannot stand this woman. She makes forensic psychologists look bad. And I hope she pays for what she has done in this case. Because now it's public. Now everyone knows she's a man-hater. So
it is, and this isn't the first time either. There's plenty of documentation of cases all over the East Coast that many people have dropped in my DMs, and I've done some additional research. I've been trying to stay away from the other channels about it and only go into the legal on it. Just because it's such a hot issue. I mean, I'm really against her testimony too, Mandy. Absolutely. And she has been proven to have testimony stricken in many other cases. I mean, she actually got sued by another client for the testimony that she gave because it was so biased that the case got tossed, and so that she got sued. She actually got sued. There's plenty on there for it. There's plenty of reasons not to go with her. But all I can say is Amber sure can't pick them, right? Look at her defense team. Look at her witnesses. If you're walking that fine line on bad legal manners and professionalism, Amber wants you. She got to check with your name on it. go sign up. That's what I have to say about that. Probably too much, huh, Ranty? But that's what I got to say about that.
Well, I mean, just say it as it is, right? I mean,
I can't help it. She's distasteful. I actually talk to people who take psychology seriously, like Mandy, who's studying, and like Bearded Heretic, who's just about going to be having his forensic practice, and they're offended by this type of attitude where she had to be so biased about. She could have made her point without being that biased. Is the point? Like, she could have done her job for the defense quite well without being this biased, without labeling men as never having it happen to, without bringing up size as if that mattered, and without making the disclaimer that's in all the research that she touted. She forgot in every bit of that research, they do put the lines that say these results may be skewed because the men do not come forward.
Well, some would say that size matters, but
Ranty, I made such a good, serious point.
Yeah, you did. I know.
Oh, jeez.
What do you think about the check boxes?
I think it's
her missing all the check boxes off, not putting the times in, how many times it was. Was it one time? Was it 3 times? Just more than 2?
Legally, that doesn't really matter to the testimony because that could be bad practice, really. Legally, it means nothing. It means sloppy, just like she's biased. Yeah, it means sloppy, just like she's biased. But it doesn't mean the information is still somewhere on the form, so they can't discount it. Is what I'm trying to say. Legally, incomplete. There wasn't one. It's incomplete, but there's not like when I spoke to Luke about it, and I spoke to a few other people. It doesn't discount it from legal testimony because it is. Many of them do it. It's just sloppy. It's not necessary. As long as the information is there, it gets counted. So they couldn't really just toss it, which I would prefer they did, on a technicality.
Well, no, it wasn't. Yeah. I know they wouldn't do that. They just put it in the jury's mind that this is a sloppy woman, unprofessional, doesn't really know how to fill the forms in. She didn't even know that she'd been off. She had 7 tests that she apparently gave Amber, and she couldn't remember what they were. Now, if that's her practice...
You know why? Because it's probably minions that did it, not her. That's what I mean. I mean, she's going by what everybody else says. I would like to know what her real opinion is. I don't think she could actually quote it. I don't think it could be said publicly because her bias is it just reeks out of her,
Right. Speaking of reeking, we do have the next witness on the stage. Amberheard. Thoughts and opinions on Amber?
I'm gonna let you take it, Mandy. I'm muting. You go for it, girl.
I didn't watch it. You know this. I'm not watching
all
it.
right, then I'll take it. All right. The
Okay.
reason, can I tell them the reason that you didn't watch it? Because it's so like offensive to
Yep.
have somebody sit there and lie about being a victim of something when you know somebody personally who has been a victim of this. It is, you can't do it. You can't watch somebody lie and manipulate it and use it to their advantage and take these stories that actually personally happened to somebody else and that you know of and make light of it, to make it a ridicule it, to make it an embarrassment, to take away from the real stories. So that's why Mandy wouldn't watch the testimony, and why on our recap we really didn't speak about the testimony, because in our opinion it doesn't really exist. It's a big joke. It's a lie, and it's going to get on Cross. The only thing we're going to watch is get destroyed on Cross, because I don't know how much of it could possibly be true. I don't think any of it could be true. It's like the girls living in a fantasy land, and all we need is a pin to pop that bubble. And I can't wait to watch Amber go flat, completely flat.
Hold on just a second. I'll be right back.
I hope I did you okay, Mandy. But
So
I know you
Man-
didn't want to speak on it. But
So let me get this right. Mandy hasn't actually watched any of this performance. Is that what you're saying?
she will not. She will not, because of a personal. Because of a personal situation in her life, that it's too painful to watch somebody make fun of that situation this way, to ridicule it and demean it in such a manner. And I don't blame her. And I have heard from many people who feel the same. There are quite a few gentlemen in my DMs that are saying the same thing, that they're absolutely so pissed off at her for just doing it like this, like lying like this, you know.
Where are you going? Oh, okay. Sorry, my husband's leaving. Where are you going, honey? Okay, let me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Colin. Did I do something to take Ranty off the air? Like, I didn't mean that.
So let me.
What did I say?
You didn't say anything. It's fine.
I have seen pieces of her testimony, and I have seen those pieces because I watched the behavior panel, and I watched some other psychology channels that discuss it. I will tell you this. I basically tapped my finger when she's testifying. Skip, 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 skip. I just want to hear what they had to say. So let me just explain some of the things that I think that I have picked up from it. She's doing everything that Dr. Curry said she would do. She has taken her stories and she has completely over-exaggerated them. She has taken, I believe I saw some clips where she was trying to claim that she was the one that retreats from these situations. Is that what she's trying to get at? She retreated.
Yeah.
I think that she's a liar. When she's saying, oh, the first instance was in 2012, 2013, 2012, 2011, 2013. Let me explain something about abuse. I can't tell you the exact day that I was choked out and shoved up against a wall, but I can tell you what year it was in. I can tell you the fear, the smells. I can tell you what it was like to be sat on top of and choked out when I was 4 months pregnant with my daughter, and that feeling of, oh my God, my child. I'm going to tell you, I didn't give two shits what the carpet looked like. So for her to be up there and to be falsely accusing somebody of such horrendous acts, I could give two shits. You know what? I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to say I don't care what happens to Amber Heard in her life. I hope she is held responsible for everything that she has done to Johnny, to Johnny's children, to Johnny's ex, to him as a human. I hope that someday she gets exactly what she deserves, and I don't want any harm to her. Don't get me wrong. I just have a feeling that she's going to end up living a miserable existence, and that doesn't affect me at all. I don't care about her. So that's my take on Amber.
Can we just say, Amber, go away, please? Yeah. No, I mean, it is upsetting, and that's why I keep streaming so much about it on different angles. On the psychological angle, I want to talk to men about it. I want to get it out there about the damage that misinformation and misrepresentation does to serious issues like that. And I don't want to bring down like a lighter stream, but that is the issue for me, Randy. I think it is the issue for you too. We do it in different ways, and it is the issue for Mandy also, as you just heard. It is offensive. This testimony is offensive on a level I can't even put into words without getting your stream taken down, like Colin said. Well, I got the words. If you've seen my Mayhem show, I could maybe I'll tell you on Mayhem.
I don't
So
even
your
have
stream
to
don't get
hear
taken
what
down.
she's saying. And I am watching this video right now. And every time she is talking about whatever the fuck she's talking about right now, she clenches her fist like she's the one punching. She's the one doing this. She's the one throwing. I don't even have to hear her words because I know she's lying. But to watch her body language, and when she says, I saw a clip where she said something like, "Did you drink all of this?" Talking about in Australia. She motioned like she was holding the bottle. "Did you drink all of this?" And the anger and the contempt and the aggression on her face, I don't want to hear her words. I can't stand her voice. I want to sock her in the face myself. Excuse me. I cannot stand this woman. What she is doing to this man is disgusting.
It is.
But when she's talking about all of these actions, she is doing it like she's the one doing it. And if they don't see that, oh my God. I hear there's a bunch of 20-year-olds on the jury. That's very scary.
It is, because what I worry about is, you know, how I felt just hearing these words. I know that they weren't true, but it has an emotional impact that I tried to talk about before we went off air that Thursday. It's going to affect the jury in some way. No one can hear about abuse, regardless of who it's from, without it affecting them in some way, no matter how reasonable they try to be. And then what we have to do now is point to the evidence of it. And no one really wants to doubt a victim, right? If she's going to claim herself to be a victim, nobody really honestly wants to come out and say, no, that couldn't possibly. Like, you don't want to naturally doubt them, but you do want them to prove it. And what I saw was Dr. Curry's, listening to Dr. Curry, I hope that the jury actually listened to Dr. Curry, because what we saw in Amber's testimony was Dr. Curry being correct, that we could actually then put ourselves in the position that all you have to do is ask, just prove one part of it, Amber, because like this is all histrionics. Just prove one part of it, please, because this is all just you acting. I mean, the movie quotes alone, come on, let's not even go there. All right, the extra adding, like how many times did she mention that damn dirty carpet, Mandy? Right? Who the hell cares if you got knocked down to the floor by anybody and you're in that much distress and you're going to focus on the dirty damn carpet? No, she's taking testimony from a movie that says that you focus on the small details when telling these stories. She's reading a script.
She's doing exactly what Dr. Curry said. She's trying to pretend that she has PTSD by these, oh, it flashed at me. It's all coming back. It's flashing back. Oh my God. Oh.
No, she doesn't. No.
I can't.
And her sitting in the courtroom, her watching the testimony and her reactions to everything like that proved beyond a shadow of a doubt to me, not being a therapist or an expert, but as a layperson, that she does not have PTSD, because the things that should have made her react didn't. She only overreacted when she thought it was good for the jury, and then she would like turn in a second. And we could play back that film, because like Luke and I did, we looked back and we would play it back and forth and show her like turning within a second from being a reaction to do. When you have PTSD, it stays with you. That reaction does not go away in a second.
What is she doing right now? See, I've never seen any of this. What is she doing on the stand? This
fake crying part is all towards the bottle. This is it didn't work for all those hours before. So now I got to really play it up a bit here, Mandy. I got to get really graphic.
Did she just take a tissue and wipe her forehead? Was her forehead?
She did.
She did
Like,
because
back it
because
up
you
a
can
little
play
bit.
it
She
back.
just
There
wrote
are
her
no
book.
real tears. There are no
Right.
real tears.
Here we go, guys. Listen, here's where she sniffs upwards in this. You see
And
what
I
she's doing with her nose.
and I have said I'm going to defend the bitch, and I hate to do this. She's not doing coke on the stand. Anybody
No.
that says she's doing coke
But
on the
she might
stand,
be sniffing Vicks to try to make herself cry. I'll tell you that.
salt, peppermint essential oil,
Yep.
Yeah.
Vicks vapor
Mhm.
rub, anything
Anything like
with
that.
mentholatum is
Right.
going to make her have the sniffles and
Because this was
potentially- yeah.
this was after the break. She had to come back. She got the PR report. They're not seeing you cry, Amber. Everybody's marking how there's no tears. Come on. Yeah.
Just-
It
Yeah,
was
and
Just
haven't
listen
I
to this.
seen
Hold
some?
on. Just one sec, guys. Just listen. She sniffs up. She doesn't breathe out. Oh, no, she doesn't do anything. She just touches her nose. Sorry. I thought she did.
It's the wrong clip. There is another clip where she actually does. It looks like she's doing a bump. It really does. Yeah. There's another one. Well,
And
it's pretty quick.
and the photo op, that was impressive. I thought that was tacky, but whatever.
I gotta go. Yeah, that was definitely played out. Well,
Yeah, this is her forgetting her lines, isn't it? This part. This is where she touches her forehead. You know, just play this bit. It's only for 20 seconds.
I'm sorry. I couldn't breathe. Please. I don't.
God, her face is ugly.
Here comes the tissue. Here comes the tissue. Here it comes.
Why?
I know exactly.
Forehead, nose, mouth. Forehead, nose.
This is. I don't even.
Yeah, she's bawling, but her cheeks don't flush. She has no tears. She's just. I just can't.
Who said Kate says even if she wins legally, she's done. And I kind of agree with that. I don't think there's any win back from this.
But believe me, if she wins, it's not going to be this histrionics. It's going to be because defamation intent couldn't have been proved, because we definitely can prove the most of the words. I think I expressed this concern once. If they can prove even one act of violence or abuse on Johnny's behalf, defamation doesn't exist as far as the whole op-ed being false. They only need one. And
well, I say there's
unfortunate.
going to be no winners in this. I don't believe that either of them are going to win.
If it was, if Amber wasn't a sick an individual, and I say that with all my own opinion, nobody else is up here, I'll own it myself. I do think she's rather sick, because in this condition, with everything, the tide turning against her the way that it is, she thinks she's making ground that she's not. She really should settle at this point if she wants to have any credibility in the industry that she so covets. She needs to settle and do the right thing and take Warner Brothers and everybody else off the stand, leave them all alone if she wants any play whatsoever in the industry, or she's going to lose big, because she's not going to get $100 million out of Johnny Depp. She's not.
No.
Okay. Because he will fight tooth and nail. He will just appeal that till the cows come home. She'll get no dime, not a dime.
So the interesting thing is that a lot of people may not know, and I actually kind of need to wrap it up quickly here in a few. A couple things that people don't know that I'm doubting will come up in the case, but Amber sued the producers and the director of, oh God, what movie was it? I can't remember what movie, and it was settled. So I think the issue is, and I've made this very clear, I don't think that there's going to be any winners in this. I think that this was done because Johnny wanted his name cleared. I don't think that he wants her money. I think if anything, he would want money from her to pay the financial obligations that she promised and her court costs. And his court costs, excuse me. I don't think he's going to get 50 million. I don't think he expects to get 50 million, but I will say this. What person other than Eve Barlow is ever going to date this woman again? knowing that
Well, there's
she
crazy
will,
people. There are
well,
some
that
crazy
she will
people.
willingly do this sort of stuff. Number one.
Mhm.
Number two, who's going to hire her? Knowing that she could bring a suit against the producers, a suit against the directors, a suit against all these men, that she'll lie to get her way. I think personally, she's done. I heard rumor that the LA is possibly opening a case against her for false police reports and stuff like that, even though they weren't false, they were called.
You know what? The public relations alone, the damage that police department took because of her, I don't blame them. I definitely would, because I wouldn't want that to happen again. And they should.
Right.
I'm all for stronger sanctions against people who are doing this, whether that be a man or a woman sitting in that seat right there. Anybody who files falsely this way to use these laws that are meant to protect people to beat somebody else up just because you didn't get your way, there needs to be stronger sanctions to prevent it. There needs to be recourse. There needs to be serious recourse, because otherwise it's going to keep happening and it's not fair. Johnny Depp suffered greatly just from the media because of what she did. Terribly, irreversibly in some cases. He's never going to get that time back or that money or all these years. Never going to get it back. Okay? That's not fair.
Yeah, Australia opened the investigation after the
dogs,
UK trial, because the witness testimony that came out kind of solidified that she lied to the Australian government. So that's been ongoing since after the UK trial.
It directly contradicted her immigration form that she filled out to go into the country. Like it directly contradicted her own testimony did. So that's why they have issue.
Can either of you explain to me, my dog stepped on a bee?
We don't care.
What was she even talking about? Like,
no idea.
We don't care. Like, you know why, Mandy? Because Amber said it. Because Amber thought it was important to add to the story. Because, like, somewhere around the book in 101, How to Lie to a Jury and Make Them Believe Anything, somebody made a thing about add a florally non-existent statement about something that doesn't matter just to get their attention, to make sure they're with you. That's what it was. In my opinion.
The parakeet floor.
Oh, yeah.
I don't. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh,
you can't slide across a parakeet floor.
It's parquet.
Yeah,
it's parquet.
I know it's parquet, but I'm saying you can't.
No, I meant Amber. I'm talking about Amber. Yeah.
Parakeet floor. But that showed that she was reading from a script, because that's
exactly
how it says. That's how it's said. It's not pronounced that way, though.
Right. And I've heard rumors of that anyways. I've heard that Elaine has a script, that Amber has a script, that Dr. Hughes had the script. So they're all playing off of this script. And somebody, a source for Amber, said she comes back every night and she looks over her testimony for the next day. And,
Fire the writers.
She wakes up in the morning and works out. And in my head, I was like, looks over her testimony for the next day.
Fire the writers. Fire the writers, because it's not going well as far as I'm concerned. Like, put them all out. Put them all out. We need a new crew.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Let me read this super chat. James Smith says, may be great that they're 20-year-old men. This is about the jury members. Many men my age have been in relationships with women like her. Apparently modern feminism made young girls do what she does.
I don't think so. Like, I would never do that. And I know my daughter or my sisters, none of us would ever do that. And I wouldn't want to say that everybody in their 20s would. Stop. Really, I'm sorry, Mandy. Every time I put you up, he would hit it, and like we were both.
I know. I'm in. I'm out. I'm in. I'm out. I'm in. I'm out.
We love you. We want you in. We want you in. We want you in. Oh, well, I'm gonna have to. Go.
I need to go also.
Yeah.
Okay.
We love you, Ranchy, but we got a bolt on you, dude.
Well, before you go, just answer this one question.
Course.
I've heard rumors that she's been blacklisted by Disney, and the perjury charges are still going ahead in Australia over the dog she brought in illegally.
Oh, ew. You want to go first, Mandy?
Well, I know that so somewhere roaming around, and you just need to do a little bit of investigation. I'm pretty sure it's on Stevie J Raw, that umbrella guy, SEC. They actually have video from the Australian government because they record that. I don't know if you guys know that. They record their sessions, I guess you would say.
Yes, they do.
And
Open,
Yep. So
transparent.
there is a video going around that's been going around for a year and a half where they are actually discussing the open investigation into Amber and how they're going to be proceeding forward with that. I think with COVID and everything that went on, everything's just a little behind, but that is still going forward. I think as far as being blacklisted from Disney, I think she's going to be blacklisted from everything. I don't know if you guys are aware that, like I said earlier in the stream, for those that aren't here, Warner Brothers Entertainment, and James Wan stopped following her the other day on Instagram. So I think that
I think
they've
made it clear.
Yep.
In their filings alone within the last year about how pissed off they are at Amber Heard for dragging them into this lawsuit, she's insisting on putting them on the witness list. They asked her specifically, if you're part of this contract, do not involve us in your personal business here. She did it anyway when she did her countersuit. She named them. She wants them involved in the Adam Waldman part of it. And they're really pissed at her. And I don't blame them, because she actually is going against an agreement that she had with them. All right. So I don't know about blacklisted. I would say tossed out for reasons that are genuine. That's what I mean,
is she really that
I would
good
say
anyway?
not blacklisted. Blacklisted means, oh, we just don't like you, so we're going to talk about you behind, and we're going to do it behind the scenes. I would say right out there in the front for a reasonable cause, you're out, woman. You are out. You don't keep your word. You're worth more. You're more trouble than you're worth. You just give us a headache. We're not making any money on you. We're not going to make any money on you. You are a problem that we don't need. There's the one thing you don't do in this industry. Anybody, man or woman, don't make the damn production company a problem, or you're out. Amber's out. And it ain't blacklisting. It's just standard business operations. You're gone, girl. You're gone.
She's not that good to begin with. So what kind of loss is it actually?
Right. Add to that, she's now formally quoted as a C- listed actress.
Oh,
made my day.
That's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt.
Yeah, well, hurt and hurt.
There's always porn. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah, that's true. Granny porn.
And on that note, tomorrow's another day.
Yes, tomorrow is another day. So as these girls are going, I'm going to round up too. So, guys, we're going to be going live tomorrow, 8 a.m. EST, because it's going live at 9 a.m. They're going out live an hour earlier tomorrow. So if you're in the UK, that will be 2 p.m. in the UK.
What? It's 1.
They're going 2 p.m. that they're going live, and 1 p.m. that will be going live here.
Yeah, you will be here an hour earlier, right? I'll be here early.
An hour earlier. Normally we're doing an hour and a half, but I know that Claire's a bit sloppy in the morning, can't get herself out of bed.
Chat, do not let him get away with that. Have I been sloppy? I've been here, and I did get the memo 7:45 that you already seen. I got it.
So we'll do it an hour before the court starts, and then we'll stay a little bit afterwards as well. So it's going to be really good tomorrow. We've got Amber Heard still on the stand. We might get to cross-examine tomorrow. I'm like that 50-50 whether we will. Probably not, but I would like to think we could get some in. You know,
they're gonna milk it. Are you kidding? That's their C-listed actress up there. They're gonna milk it. It'll be all day of me sitting on my hands with the mic closed, not yelling at Amber. That's what it's gonna be like.
So I have to. I'm gonna round up, but I have to tell you guys. So my teenage daughters are very much on TikTok, and of course they're seeing this all kind of unfold. So 15 just walked over to me and kind of leaned down to me. She goes, Aquaman. So it's the part of the tape where Johnny's
Oh my God. Oh my god.
Oh,
You know what? And I love Jason, but when he stuck up for Amber, I had to kick him. Yeah, I can't. This is unreasonable. Thank you, Ranty, for a lovely afternoon.
No worries, no worries. It was
Yes,
good to go over everything and remind people
Yeah.
about all the witnesses that have been on so
Mhm.
far. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed it, guys. Don't forget to leave a thanks. Thanks.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
thumbs up. A thumbs up,
Yes.
yes. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And Claire as well. Go and subscribe to Claire View.
Yeah, come say hi to the bear. I'm actually gonna run over and do a Black Mirror now this afternoon for those from the UK that asked for it to be earlier. I am gonna do it. I'm gonna go over there now. Mandy, this was a hell of a lot of fun. Thank you for joining us. I'm glad you had coffee with us. Ranty, is she not the best? She's the bee's knees.
She's the bee's knees.
She's the bee's knees.
Great.
Yes,
She's great.
I do.
Thank you.
Andy, do you want to replace Claire? I'm only joking.
Go ahead, Mandy.
I'm
I'll just
only-
stream on. I'll just
I'm
go
only
stream on my
joking,
channel.
I'm
You
only
can play with
joking.
Ranty. It's okay. That's okay. Just remember who you're going to be with all day tomorrow. I got 9 hours to torture your ass. Just remember that.
Oh, that's
Just
true.
remember
That's true. That's true. Oh my goodness.
Oh my
right.
God. And right, chat, he asked for it. Go ahead. Tomorrow morning, you get to vote first thing. Should I torture him all day or not? Like, we'll talk. Okay. See, I got to go. Bye.
Right. We're going to
I
go,
do love
guys.
you.
We're
Bye,
gonna
guys.
Go. Bye-bye. Go over to
Bye.
Claire's and-
Have a
Yeah.
great day.
She'll be
Everybody.
carrying on. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.
Okay.